Chapter 3341, Do you want to kill me here? The temperature began to gradually drop. Without realizing it, snowflakes were falling from the sky. Little May said, We've already entered the Coldwater Holy Land's territory. The Coldwater Holy Land's cultivation techniques lean towards ice and cold. Over years of accumulation, a large area where the Coldwater Holy Land was located had become extremely cold, getting colder the closer one got to the Holy Land. All of this was demarcated by snow and ice, somewhat resembling the Beast Emperor's wind and snow mountains. The snow and ice contained a strange power. If one wasn't a cultivator, they couldn't withstand the cold brought by the snow and ice for long. No matter how many clothes one wore, even carrying a fire basin in one's arms would be useless. This was the invasion of great Tao power, not something ordinary fire could resist. A force rose from the cloud-piercing sword, completely blocking out the snow and ice. Lin Moyu naturally didn't mind, but Little May couldn't handle it. At this time, Little May was still very weak. Although she had cultivated to the peak of the transcendent realm in these 3 years, she still couldn't withstand it for long. The snow and ice grew denser. Gusts of cold wind blew over, enough to kill those at the transcendent realm. Lin Moyu said, It seems your Coldwater Holy Land really doesn't welcome outsiders. Little May said, This is the wind and snow formation left by the ancestors. Its power isn't very great, just enough to block some unnecessary trouble. Every 140 years, there are 10 days when the wind and snow formation reveals a passage. At that time, if anyone wants to join the Holy Land, they can come in along the passage. Lin Moyu pointed to the distance, Is that the passage? Little May looked over. In the distance, amidst the wind and snow, a black line appeared. This black line was crowded with people, many were moving forward. There was no wind or snow there, and the temperature was normal. Even ordinary people could pass through. Little May said, What a coincidence, it's exactly the day for accepting disciples. Lin Moyu chuckled, Let's go over and take a look. Little May smiled and said, Whatever teacher says. Lin Moyu immediately flew over. In the vast expanse of snow and ice, Lin Moyu's appearance became very abrupt. In the passage revealed by the formation, many people looked up at Lin Moyu. Seeing Lin Moyu standing on a flying sword like an immortal, these ordinary people showed envious expressions. The reason they came to the Coldwater Holy Land was to join the Holy Land and become cultivators. But they also knew that the Coldwater Holy Land was extremely strict in accepting disciples. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't be able to get in. It was just that everyone held hope, wanting to try before they could be content. Lin Moyu's gaze swept over, looking at everyone's souls. These people's aptitudes were all passable. If they were too poor, they probably wouldn't have come here. Looking at their destiny, there was no one with strong destiny. They were all ordinary people. Lin Moyu said softly, With these people's aptitudes, joining some small sects would be enough. Wanting to join the Coldwater Holy Land is slightly insufficient. Little May naturally believed Lin Moyu's words, Teacher is right. The Holy Land accepts disciples once a year, but often it takes 3 to 5 years to get one qualified person. Lin Moyu said, Although it looks hopeless, under the Great Tao there's always a glimmer of hope. You never know when a miracle might happen. Little May followed Lin Moyu's words, Teacher is right, miracles are everywhere. Lin Moyu was amused by Little May, When did you learn to flatter so well? Little May said, It's all thanks to Teacher's good teaching. The two flew towards the Coldwater Holy Land along the passage through the snow and ice. The terrain kept rising, getting higher and higher. Although there was no snow and ice blocking the way, just this terrain was enough to stop many people. This was also the first test given by the Coldwater Holy Land. If one couldn't even reach the gate, they had no qualifications to join the Holy Land sect. At the top of the mountain, amidst the swirling snow, ice, and clouds, a huge mountain gate could be vaguely seen. This was the endpoint for all those coming to seek discipleship, and also the starting point for the next stage. Lin Moyu flew all the way up towards the mountain. Along the way, they didn't see any Holy Land disciples. No one was managing this road. According to Little May, if someone accidentally died halfway, then they just died. It could only be said that their fate wasn't good. The Holy Land wouldn't care. This was the world of cultivators, extremely cruel. Every step was dangerous. One mistake meant death. Soon, the two arrived at the Holy Land's main gate. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, They've indeed come. At this moment, Wu Xingguang and several Wu family members were standing in front of the gate. Those ordinary people wanting to become disciples were still on the way. The fastest one was still some distance from the gate. Back then, Lu Fengyao had said Wu Xingguang would come to the Coldwater Holy Land to propose marriage. He really did come. Lin Moyu asked curiously, since they've come, why don't they go in? Little May explained, during these days when the Holy Land is accepting disciples, the gate doesn't open. Only when all the people seeking discipleship have arrived will the gate open. The passage would remain for 10 days. After 10 days, except for an area in front of the Coldwater Holy Land's gate, all other places would be sealed off by snow, ice, and cold wind. In other words, those wanting to become disciples, if they couldn't walk half the distance within 5 days, must immediately turn back and leave through the teleportation formation at the starting point. Otherwise, they would freeze to death halfway. Only those who could reach the gate within 10 days would have the qualifications to undergo the next round of tests. Lin Moyu had no particular feelings about this rule. Everyone had to pay the price for their choices. Whether they lived or died depended entirely on themselves. It was quite fair. Lin Moyu glanced at Little May, as if saying, why didn't you tell me earlier? He calmly said, it seems we'll have to wait here for a few days. Little May giggled, I believe teacher definitely has a way to get in. Little May was implying Lin Moyu's relationship with Ji Yu Hanyu. Sometimes, rules were rules, but if relationships were strong enough, rules could be bent. At this time, Wu Xingguang also noticed Lin Moyu. He frowned, a glint flashing in his eyes, then put on a smile, I didn't expect to meet fellow Taoist here. What a coincidence. Wu Xingguang appeared calm on the surface, but his subtle changes couldn't escape Lin Moyu's notice, not even Little May's. Lin Moyu could clearly sense that this guy had a slight killing intent towards him, but this killing intent was very weak, not enough to make him actually take action. At the same time, the two 7th level elders behind Wu Xingguang seemed somewhat wary of him. Lin Moyu slowly descended, indeed quite a coincidence. This isn't the hurricane warship anymore. Does fellow Taoist Wu want to consider killing me here? Wu Xingguang was stunned on the spot. He never expected Lin Moyu to speak so directly. He had indeed thought about killing Lin Moyu, but that was just a thought. After being advised by the two elders, this idea had long faded. Wu Xingguang was embarrassed for 2 seconds, then immediately put on a smile, fellow Taoist is joking. Xingguang never thought of being enemies with fellow Taoist. Lin Moyu said casually, really never thought about it. Wu Xingguang immediately said, that was just a misunderstanding. Fellow Taoist is Feng Yao's friend, naturally also Wu's friend. How could I think of such things? Lin Moyu chuckled, it's good if it was a misunderstanding. Then why doesn't fellow Taoist Wu go in? Wu Xingguang said, it seems fellow Taoist doesn't know the Coldwater Holy Land's rules. This time happens to be when the Holy Land is accepting disciples. The mountain gate will be closed for a few days. We can only enter after a few days. Lin Moyu smiled ambiguously, is that so? Let me try. Saying this, Lin Moyu took out a token, activated it, and said loudly to the token, Elder, Lin Moyu is here to visit. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3342, 3342. Chapter 3342, The Overly Polite Ji Yu Kang. The token flashed with light and automatically flew up. The character, Kang, on the token was very eye-catching. Wu Xingguang's level wasn't high enough, so he didn't recognize this token. But the two 7th level elders behind him simultaneously drew in a cold breath, Elder Ji Yu Kang's token. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, that's right, it is indeed Elder Ji Yu Kang's token. Previously, the token was stored in a storage space, so even Ji Yu Kang couldn't sense it. Now that the token was activated, even if Ji Yukang was in seclusion, he could hear Lin Moyu's voice. Sure enough, in less than 2 seconds, Ji Yukang's deep and authoritative voice came from the token. Young friend Lin is visiting, the cold water Holy Land is honored. This Ji Yu has failed to welcome you from afar, please forgive me. The gate slowly opened with Ji Yukang's voice. There are no rules in the world that can't be broken, it just depends on whether your relationships are strong enough or your fist is hard enough. With Elder Ji Yukang's order, how could the Holy Land's gate not open? As the gate opened, a blast of cold air rushed out from behind it. The token flashed with light, shining on Lin Moyu, blocking all the cold air. Little Mei huddled tightly behind Lin Moyu, using him as a human shield. Ji Yukang's figure appeared in the cold air, walking out from behind the gate. Terrifying pressure accompanied Ji Yukang, rolling forth like waves. Wu Xingguang and the others' expressions changed drastically. Facing this pressure, they felt as if their Dao hearts were about to collapse. Especially the 2 7th-level elders from the Wu family felt it deeply. They looked at each other, seeing shock in each other's eyes. Ji Yukang's pressure seemed to be beyond just 9th-level Dao Venerable. Ji Yukang strode forward, laughing heartily, "Congratulations, young friend Lin, your cultivation has greatly advanced." Lin Moyu also smiled and said, "Congratulations to you too, elder. It shouldn't be far now, right?" Ji Yukang laughed, "Not far, not far. It's all thanks to young friend Lin that this old man has seen hope. Please come in quickly, let's talk inside if there's anything." Lin Moyu said, "Won't this break the rules?" Ji Yukang said, "What damn rules, I am the rules." Lin Moyu didn't stand on ceremony anymore, then this junior will respectfully obey. Ji Yukang said, "What's all this talk about respect? If young friend Lin keeps talking like this, it means you're not treating this old man as a friend. Come quickly, this old man has some good tea, just right to enjoy together with young friend Lin." Just as they were about to go in, Wu Xingguang suddenly spoke up, "Elder Kang, I am Wu Xingguang of the Wu family. Can we also go in together?" Ji Yukang seemed to only notice Wu Xingguang at this moment. He glanced at him sideways, "Wu Xingguang of the Wu family. Never heard of you, what relation are you to Wu Xingchen?" Wu Xingguang immediately said, "Wu Xingchen is my brother, my younger brother." Ji Yukang looked at him, then at the people behind him, seeming to understand something, "Since you're from the Wu family, then come in together." Wu Xingguang was overjoyed and immediately followed them in. The gate closed again, leaving only the group of people still struggling to climb outside. Behind the gate was a magnificent hall, very bright. The temperature wasn't as cold as imagined. It was indeed a bit colder than normal environments, but still bearable. The key was that the power of the Great Tao didn't appear here, meaning ordinary people could survive here as long as they wore warm enough clothes. The cold water Holy Land looked no different from other sects, without any prosperous holy sites or extraordinary phenomena. But if one's spiritual sense was keen enough, they could sense how different this place was. The cold water Holy Land had reached a level of returning to simplicity. Every pillar around, every brick under their feet had been refined. They looked ordinary but actually concealed profound mysteries. Lin Moyu could see that formations were arranged here. The formations weren't to enhance origin power, but to suppress it. They firmly suppressed the origin power in the origin spirit veins beneath the cold water Holy Land, not letting it disperse. It wasn't that they truly didn't let it disperse, but rather released it when needed and suppressed it normally. This way, cultivating in this area became extremely difficult. If one could still cultivate rapidly in such an environment, it not only proved they had extremely strong talent, but also laid a powerful foundation. When the spirit veins were released, years of accumulation would turn into momentum, allowing cultivators to soar. After walking a few steps, several disciples wearing pure white cold robes came over to respectfully greet Ji Yukang. Ji Yukang gestured for them to take Wu Xingguang and the others to the main hall. He couldn't be bothered to deal with ordinary affairs and naturally handed them over to others to handle. Passing through the Great Hall, Ji Yukang came to a teleportation formation. The Holy Land is quite large, and flying isn't very convenient. Let's take the teleportation formation. Lin Moyu naturally had no objections. As a 9th-level elder of the Cold Water Holy Land, Ji Yukang could use the origin spirit veins for teleportation, but the authority wasn't in his hands, but in Ji Yu Hanyu's. Even he could only use teleportation formations to travel. After a brief teleportation, the three arrived among mountains. Ice mountains stood between heaven and earth as if cut by knives and chiseled by axes. The mountain peaks were like blades, seeming to want to pierce the sky. Lin Moyu could see that these knife-like mountains were actually also a formation, and a very high-level formation at that, at least peak 7th grade, possibly reaching 8th grade. The cold water Holy Land appeared simple, but everything was actually hidden beneath that simplicity. Ji Yu Kang's residence was among the mountains, occupying a valley to himself. This valley was also a formation I. Once the formation was activated, Ji Yu Kang could control the formation here. However, Lin Moyu had a feeling that this formation hadn't been activated for a very long time. Ji Yu Kang led Lin Moyu into the courtyard. Waves of fragrance wafted over. Outside the courtyard was a world of ice and snow, but inside it was as warm as spring, with tea fragrance permeating the air. It was like two different worlds. Lin Moyu took a deep breath. What fragrant tea? The tea fragrance carries a hint of ice. It's good tea even without drinking. Ji Yu Kang laughed heartily, as long as young friend Lin doesn't mind. Please, please. Ji Yu Kang was extremely polite to Lin Moyu, polite to the point of being excessive. This made Lin Moyu feel a bit strange. After sitting down, Ji Yu Kang very enthusiastically urged Lin Moyu to have a cup. The tea fragrance entered his mouth, then exploded, a clear and cold feeling surging up. For a moment, Lin Moyu's memories churned. He thought of the iced tea Yuzu had brewed for him. The two teas had extremely similar tastes. He thought of Yuzu, thought of his wives, and for a moment was lost in memories. Little May also took a sip, her eyes also showing nostalgia, memories of her previous life churning. This was tea unique to the cold water Holy Land. She used to drink it often before. Ji Yu Kang didn't know what the two were thinking and couldn't help asking, young friend Lin, how is this old man's tea? Lin Moyu came back to his senses, good tea. The tea is icy and contains the power of the great Tao. It can clear the soul and spirit. It's indeed good tea. Ji Yu Kang smiled and said, does young friend know what tea this is? Lin Moyu said, you're testing me, elder. Everyone knows the cold water Holy Land produces cold iced Tao tea, but since you ask like this must not be cold iced Tao tea. Why don't we let my disciple answer this question? Lin Moyu directly passed the question to Little May. He believed Little May definitely knew. Little May said softly, it's 9 extremes glacier tea, but this tea should be at the 6th level, not yet reaching 9 extremes. Ji Yu Kang was shocked on the spot and blurted out, how do you know? Lin Moyu smiled and said, was she right? Ji Yu Kang nodded, that's right, but how does young friend Lin's disciple know this? Lin Moyu shook his head, what do you think? Ji Yu Kang looked at Little May, then at Lin Moyu, and said half-believingly, does the little girl have a connection with the 3 ancestors? Lin Moyu chuckled but didn't directly answer. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3343, 3343. Chapter 3343. With me here, no one can touch us. Lin Moyu's non-answer was taken as confirmation in Ji Yu Kang's eyes. Very few people knew about 9 extremes glacier tea, only the elders of a few top powers. But to be able to clearly taste and identify the specific grade, it was likely only the 3 ancestors. 9 extremes glacier tea ranged from the most common 1st extreme to the top 9th extreme. Only the 3 ancestors had ever obtained all grades from 1st to 7th extreme of 9 extremes glacier tea. As for the 8th and 9th extreme glacier tea, even Ji Yu Kang had never tasted them. Even the 7th extreme, he had only tasted once. So Ji Yu Kang instinctively believed that Little May had a connection to the 3 ancestors. Ji Yu Kang could never have imagined that Little May was once also a 9th level elder of the Cold Water Holy Land and had personally tasted 9 extremes glacier tea. Lin Moyu saying Little May was his disciple made Ji Yu Kang feel even more that Lin Moyu's relationship with the three ancestors was extraordinary, far exceeding his expectations. His attitude towards Lin Moyu became increasingly polite. "Young friend Lin, do you have any business in coming here this time?" Lin Moyu said, "Indeed, I have two things to do. First is to ask Elder some questions." Ji Yu Kang said, "Please ask, young friend." Lin Moyu said, "I went to the Netherworld race in the Western continent some time ago and found that the Netherworld race was using humans as sacrifices. Does Elder know about this?" Ji Yu Kang replied without thinking, "This old man hasn't dealt with sect affairs for many years and isn't very clear about most matters. But I can ask about it." Lin Moyu nodded, "This matter isn't urgent. Let me talk about the second thing first. This second matter might put you in a difficult position." Ji Yu Kang said, "Not to boast, but as long as it's a matter of the Holy Land, this old man can still make decisions. Please speak freely." Lin Moyu said, "I've come to take someone." Ji Yu Kang looked puzzled, "Take someone?" Lin Moyu nodded, "My wife, the current Holy Lord, Ji Yu Hanyu." Ji Yu Kang was stunned on the spot. "Young friend Lin, did this old man hear wrong? Could you say that again?" Lin Moyu said with a slight smile, "You didn't hear wrong. It's Ji Yu Hanyu, my wife." Ji Yu Kang frowned deeply. If anyone else had said this, Ji Yu Kang would probably have slapped them already. But now it was Lin Moyu, so he held back and didn't act. Ji Yu Kang said softly, "Can young friend Lin explain what's going on?" Lin Moyu said, "Some things, I'm not comfortable explaining alone. Why don't we call Hanyu here? It would be better for her to explain to you." Ji Yu Kang nodded, "That's fine." He sent a message to Ji Yu Hanyu asking her to come over. Although Ji Yu Hanyu was the Holy Lord in charge of the Holy Land's affairs, she still had to obey when facing Ji Yu Kang. Strength was everything. Titles were just titles after all. Lin Moyu could feel that Ji Yu Kang's heart was very complicated at this moment. On one side were the Holy Land's rules, on the other was himself, putting Ji Yu Kang in a difficult position. Obviously, Ji Yu Kang didn't want to offend him, because he thought Lin Moyu had the three ancestors behind him. In fact, he didn't want to offend the three ancestors. Lin Moyu understood the stakes involved. Ji Yu Kang sighed deeply, "Young friend Lin, do you know the Holy Land's rules?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Rules are made by predecessors. Later generations can break them. Sometimes unchanging rules need to be updated and replaced. I don't want to put you in a difficult position either, so I've thought of a few solutions." Ji Yu Kang's eyes brightened slightly, "Please, do tell." Lin Moyu said, "If the Holy Land's Holy Lord can't marry outsiders, then let Hanyu give up the position of Holy Lord. Wouldn't she be able to marry outside then?" As soon as these words were said, Ji Yu Kang's brow furrowed even more. Since the Holy Land's establishment, there have only been Holy Lords who died in battle, never any who voluntarily gave up their position. This solution sounded good but was actually not feasible. Little May had already said before, the Coldwater Holy Land's Holy Lord only had two possibilities. One was to advance to 7th level Elder and choose the next Holy Lord candidate before stepping down. But 7th level Elders also couldn't marry outsiders. 7th level Elders were extremely important combat power for the Holy Land, their importance not much less than the Holy Lord. The other possibility was Holy Lords who died in battle. In the early days of establishing the Holy Land, during years of great battles with the questioning Dao sect, there were indeed Holy Lords who died in battle. Apart from these two possibilities, there had never been a third path for Holy Lords. Now wanting Ji Yu Hanyu to voluntarily step down, even if she really did step down, Ji Yu Hanyu would still be bound. Voluntarily stepping down and then letting the former Holy Lord marry outside would be an insult to the Coldwater Holy Land. They couldn't possibly agree. Although Ji Yu Kang didn't explicitly refuse, he had already told Lin Moyu that this path wouldn't work. Lin Moyu said, "If the first method doesn't work, then we can only use the second. But the second method isn't very good, and I don't want to put Hanyu in a difficult position." Ji Yu Kang understood Lin Moyu's meaning. The first was to negotiate nicely, the second was to use force. From what Ji Yu Kang knew of Lin Moyu, for him to dare say this meant Lin Moyu must certainly have confidence. But Lin Moyu was only at 4th level Dao Venerable. Where did his confidence come from? Could it be confidence given by the three ancestors? But would the three ancestors take action against us for his sake? Ji Yu Kang had known the three ancestors for many years and felt they wouldn't take action for this kind of thing. He couldn't quite understand. A bunch of smiles squeezed onto his aged face. This old man believes we can always discuss a win-win solution. Lin Moyu smiled and said, if this matter succeeds, we'll be in-laws. It's naturally best if we can avoid damaging our relationship. Little May said nothing, just drinking her tea, being a qualified bystander, and enjoying watching her teacher's drama unfold. Soon, the space outside the valley distorted slightly, and the snow-like beautiful Ji Hanyu appeared outside the valley. She walked into the valley with small steps and saw Lin Moyu in the courtyard. She paused for a moment, a glint flashing in her eyes. He really came. Memories surged. She remembered what Lin Moyu had said before. Lin Moyu had said that once he established himself, he would come to the Coldwater Holy Land to marry her. At the time, she had just treated it as a joke. How could establishing oneself be so easy? And he wanted to come to the Coldwater Holy Land to marry her. Who knew how many years it would take? Even tens of thousands of years would be short. Unexpectedly, after just a few years, Lin Moyu had really come. Not only had he come, but he was drinking tea with Ji Kang, seemingly on good terms. Ji Hanyu didn't understand at all what had happened. After freezing for a second, she returned to normal. But that second of freezing had already given Ji Kang an answer. Ji Hanyu came before Ji Kang and bowed, Elder, why did you summon Hanyu? Ji Kang didn't conceal anything. Tell us about your relationship with young friend Lin. Ji Hanyu's delicate body trembled slightly. My relationship with him. As she spoke, Ji Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu, hoping to get an answer from him. She couldn't use voice transmission to ask now. At this distance, voice transmission would certainly be heard by Ji Kang. Lin Moyu said, just tell the truth. No need to hide anything. Ji Hanyu said softly, are you sure? Lin Moyu said, I'm sure. Don't worry. With me here, no one can touch us. These words made Ji Kang's brow twitch. Lin Moyu used the most calm tone to give the greatest threat, clearly telling him that he didn't take the Coldwater Holy Land seriously at all. All right. Ji Hanyu took a deep breath. She chose to believe Lin Moyu's words. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3344. 3344. Chapter 3344. If all else fails, we can only win them over with virtue. Ji Hanyu explained her relationship with Lin Moyu in detail, without concealing anything. Ji Hanyu knew very well that an old fox like Ji Kang, who had lived for 1,000,000 years, would certainly discover any deception on her part. After listening, Ji Kang frowned even more deeply. The intertwined branch, it was actually the intertwined branch. So you don't actually know if you truly fell in love with each other, or if it was due to the effect of the intertwined branch. He was very surprised that Lin Moyu, who was so weak at the time, could push Ji Hanyu to the point of living and dying together. This was not something an ordinary cultivator could do. In others' eyes, it was simply a miracle. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly. That's not important anymore, is it? Ji Kang sighed. Indeed, it's no longer important. The intertwined branch is unsolvable. Lin Moyu said, now that you know the cause and effect, let's discuss what to do next. Ji Kang coughed lightly. To be honest, I personally don't object to you two being together. But the ancestral rules are there. The Holy Lord cannot marry outside, and there's no precedent for a Holy Lord voluntarily abdicating. Even if we wanted to set a precedent, it would be difficult to get approval. Although I've lived the longest among the elders, I can't treat the Holy Lord position as my personal domain. Young friend Lin, how about this? I'll go discuss with the other elders and give you an answer later. Lin Moyu said, that's appropriate. If we can negotiate a good result, that would naturally be best. Ji Kang looked at Ji Hanyu. Hanyu, you haven't seen young friend Lin for many years. Stay here and keep him company. I'll go discuss with the other elders. After saying this, Ji Yu Kang quickly walked towards the valley exit. A cold wind blew in from outside the valley, but turned warm upon entering. The valley was like spring all year round, very comfortable. Ji Yu Hanyu's delicate face bore a strange expression. Her beautiful eyes stared unblinkingly at Lin Moyu, as if seeing him for the first time. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Is there something strange about your husband?" Ji Yu Hanyu asked, "How did you do it?" Lin Moyu knew what Ji Yu Hanyu meant. For Ji Yu Kang, as a 9th-level elder of the Holy Land, to speak so calmly with him and even try to find a solution for him was unimaginable in Ji Yu Hanyu's eyes. Who was Ji Yu Kang? He had once battled the world, decisive in killing. Even others in the Holy Land were somewhat afraid of him. But now he could speak so politely with Lin Moyu. This was incomprehensible to Ji Yu Hanyu. Ji Yu Hanyu almost thought Lin Moyu was Ji Yu Kang's illegitimate son. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Sit down and have some tea. This is 9 Extremes Glacier tea. I imagine you don't get to drink it easily usually." Ji Yu Hanyu frowned and snorted lightly, "With my status as Holy Lord, 9 Extremes Glacier tea is just daily fare." At this moment, Little May suddenly spoke up. The Holy Lord position usually only gets to drink 2nd Extreme Glacier tea, occasionally 3rd Extreme. Ji Yu Hanyu was slightly stunned. "Little girl, what's your name?" Little May stood up and bowed to Ji Yu Hanyu. "Little May greets teacher Mother Hanyu." Lin Moyu said, "Little May is my disciple. Isn't she quite clever?" Ji Yu Hanyu nodded. "She does seem clever." As she spoke, she took out a jade token, clearly a good magical treasure. "This is a welcome gift for you." Ji Yu Hanyu didn't object to Little May's form of address, which meant she accepted her identity as Lin Moyu's wife. Little May accepted the jade token, her face full of smiles. "Little May thanks Teacher Mother. Teacher Mother is so generous, much more generous than teacher." Lin Moyu snorted lightly, "You talk too much. Drink your tea." Little May giggled and continued to act as a bystander. Lin Moyu brewed a fresh cup of tea for Ji Yu Hanyu and handed it over. "Try it. 7th Extreme Glacier tea. You probably can't drink this usually." Ji Yu Hanyu took the tea but didn't drink it, still staring at Lin Moyu. "How did you really do it?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "That's a long story. Even if I summarize, it can't be explained quickly. In short, your husband is quite formidable now. Even old Ji Yu has to give me face." Ji Yu Hanyu didn't pursue the question further. Now wasn't the time to ask about these things. She said softly, "Even if Elder Kang gives you face, the Holy Land isn't his personal domain. He has to respect the opinions of the other elders. Especially Elder Ice, who definitely won't agree. Our matter won't be easy to resolve." Ji Yu Hanyu's words carried some worry. She knew the internal situation of the Coldwater Holy Land like the back of her hand. She knew the personalities of each elder and understood that resolving her matter with Lin Moyu wouldn't be easy. Lin Moyu said, "Don't worry. There's nothing in this world that can't be resolved. Now that your husband is here, leave the rest to me." Ji Yu Hanyu said, "Although you're very impressive, you're still only at 4th level Dao Venerable." Ji Yu Hanyu didn't continue, seemingly not wanting to discourage Lin Moyu about his realm. Lin Moyu smiled without saying anything, then said softly, "Little May, do you know who Elder Ice is?" Little May thought for a moment. It should be Ji Yu Hanbing. If it's really her, there might be some trouble. She's very traditional, has a bad temper, and doesn't understand flexibility in many things. From Little May's brief description, Lin Moyu roughly understood what kind of person Elder Ice was. Ji Yu Hanbing, just from the name, she should be from Ji Yu Hanyu's lineage. Lin Moyu asked again, "Hanyu, is the Elder Ice you mentioned Ji Yu Hanbing?" Ji Yu Hanyu said, "Little May is right. Elder Ice's temper is indeed not good and she doesn't understand flexibility, but she's very good to me. If I beg her, perhaps." Little May shook her head. "It's useless. No matter how good Ji Yu Hanbing is to you in private, on major matters, she won't show favoritism. She'll only handle things officially." Ji Yu Hanyu was somewhat surprised at how clearly Little May knew this. Lin Moyu asked, "Hanyu, is what Little May said correct?" Ji Yu Hanyu nodded. "Little May is right. Elder Ice indeed has such a personality, never showing favoritism on major matters. Moreover, Elder Ice doesn't get along with Elder Kang. They've even had arguments before. She definitely won't agree to this matter." While the two were speaking, Lin Moyu had also found information on Ji Yu Hanbing. Ji Yu Hanbing became a 9th level elder 180,000 years ago. Little May had dissolved her cultivation and reincarnated 200,000 years ago, so in terms of seniority, Little May was higher. When Little May reincarnated, Gu Hanbing probably hadn't yet cultivated to 9th level Dao Venerable. However, judging from Gu Hanbing's personality that could argue with Gu Kang, she wasn't someone who could be pressured by seniority. Even if Little May revealed her identity, it would be useless. Lin Moyu said softly, people who stick too rigidly to rules are indeed troublesome. If all else fails, we can only win them over with virtue. Gu Hanyu almost spat out the glacier tea in her mouth, win them over with virtue. Lin Moyu said, virtue is also a kind of virtue. He was calling using force to subdue people as winning them over with virtue, even talking about martial virtue. Gu Hanyu was speechless, isn't there any other way? After all, she was the Holy Lord of the Coldwater Holy Land. She was extremely unwilling to have an unpleasant conflict with the Coldwater Holy Land. But she also firmly stood on Lin Moyu's side. Whether it was due to the influence of the intertwined branch or not was no longer important. Lin Moyu said, besides Elder Kang and Elder Ice, are there any other 9th level elders in the Holy Land? Gu Hanyu said, there's one more, Elder Chen. Asterisk. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3345, 3345. Chapter 3345, I mean exactly what I said. Gu Hanyu said softly, Elder Chen, originally named Mu Chen, was originally a disciple of the Holy Land. Later he fell in love with a female disciple and they became Dao partners. Later Elder Chen became an elder, and even cultivated to 9th level Dao Venerable. However, Elder Chen has always stayed out of affairs, especially after his Dao partner self-sealed, he speaks even less. From Gu Hanyu's words, one could tell that Mu Chen was a devoted lover. He stayed by his Dao partner's side every day. Even though his Dao partner had self-sealed, he never left her side. Gu Kang and Gu Hanbing represented two factions within the Coldwater Holy Land. If the two sides disagreed, this matter would be difficult to resolve and might reach a long stalemate, putting Gu Hanyu in a difficult position to make a decision. If both sides agreed and didn't allow it, that would be easier to deal with. Lin Moyu would just take Gu Hanyu by force. Though the Coldwater Holy Land was strong, Lin Moyu wasn't afraid. However, this would be the worst outcome. Neither he nor Gu Hanyu wanted that. So Lin Moyu hoped to find a third faction to break the balance between the two sides. Now it seemed his hope was dashed. Little May suddenly said, if Mu Chen could speak up, it wouldn't be useless. Though Mu Chen doesn't talk much, he's still a 9th level elder with power. And within the Holy Land, quite a few people follow him. Gu Hanyu found it increasingly strange. She was very curious why Little May knew so much about the Coldwater Holy Land's affairs. Lin Moyu asked, who are Elder Mu Chen's followers? Gu Hanyu said, the Holy Land is basically divided into two groups, one is our Gu family, the other is disciples with different surnames. Among the disciples with different surnames, there are also elders and ancestors. The strongest among them is Elder Chen, so they naturally follow Elder Chen. Hearing this, Lin Moyu understood the internal power dynamics of the Coldwater Holy Land. Disciples with different surnames naturally sought patrons to protect their interests. Without doubt, Mu Chen, being the strongest, was their best patron. The Gu family descendants were not monolithic either. Those led by Gu Kang and those led by Gu Hanbing formed two different factions. So the Coldwater Holy Land internally had three competing powers. But one of the three didn't get involved much in affairs. Lin Moyu asked, did Elder Chen's Dao partner self-seal because she reached her lifespan limit? He calculated the time. Even if Mu Chen's Dao partner hadn't self-sealed, she should be less than 400,000 years old by now. For a Tao Venerable, choosing to self-seal at 400,000 years old seemed unusual. There might be some issue. Ji Yu Hanyu said, Elder Chen's Tao partner is named Ji Yu Hanzu. She self-sealed because of an injury. Over the years, Elder Chen has been seeking a cure, but has never found a way. Lin Moyu said, is it a soul injury? Ji Yu Hanyu said, I'm not sure of the exact injury. Only a few elders know. But I've heard Elder Ice mention it should be related to the soul void. If it was related to the soul void, it was very likely a soul-level injury. And soul-level injuries were the hardest to treat. Even the three ancestors had no good solution. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been helpless with those 160 Tao Venerables back then. Lin Moyu thought for a moment, perhaps I have a way to get Elder Chen to speak up. But before that, I'd like to meet Elder Chen. Ji Yu Hanyu said, I'll take you there. As Holy Lord, Ji Yu Hanyu managed various affairs within the Holy Land. Her authority was very great on a daily basis. Controlling the origin spirit veins for teleportation was within her authority. She immediately took Lin Moyu to where Elder Chen was. After a brief teleportation, the three arrived in a valley. This valley was even colder, much colder than the valley where Ji Yu Kang was. Lin Moyu glanced around and said softly, this formation is quite good. Ji Yu Hanyu explained, this is the profound ice formation arranged by Elder Chen. The profound ice formation can further enhance the self-sealing effect. Lin Moyu understood. Most people in the cold water Holy Land cultivated ice-based techniques. Cold was not only harmless to them, but beneficial. Even self-sealing was done in extremely low-temperature environments. The lower the temperature, the better. But each cultivator could withstand different levels of cold based on their realm. Elder Chen had arranged the profound ice formation in his residence. Using the cold water Holy Land's existing formations, he further lowered the valley's temperature to the limit he could withstand. In this state, the self-sealing effect could be increased by at least 30%. Ji Yu Hanyu said, generally, Elder Chen won't leave this place. Even if there's something to discuss, at most he'll send an avatar. Sometimes he won't even use an avatar. Lin Moyu looked around, nice place, nice formation. It not only lowers the temperature, but also draws on the Holy Land's destiny. Though it doesn't draw much, over time it accumulates. It seems this Elder Chen loves very deeply. Scanning with his undead eye, Lin Moyu saw two soul flames in the valley. One soul flame was extremely large, reaching 9th level Tao Venerable. This should be Mu Chen. The other soul flame was damaged, clearly having suffered heavy injuries. The soul was severely injured, at risk of collapse at any time. However, that soul flame had entered a dormant state. Under the dual effects of self-sealing and ice, the trend of soul collapse was suppressed. Judging from the remnant soul, the other person's cultivation level should be around 6th level Tao Venerable, not yet reaching 7th level. Lin Moyu confirmed he had enough soul power to repair the other's soul. He said, let's go. Elder Chen is inside. Ji Yu Hanyu continued leading the way, walking towards the interior of the valley. The valley wasn't large. There were no courtyards or buildings inside, just a small wooden cabin, very simple. Outside the cabin was a large silver tree, covered in wind and snow. Under the tree stood a 5-meter-tall crystal. Inside the crystal lay a beautiful jade-like woman. Beside the crystal, an unremarkable man in plain clothes sat cross-legged. Ji Yu Hanyu said loudly, greetings to Elder Chen. Mu Chen didn't open his eyes. Does the Holy Lord have business here? Ji Yu Hanyu said, indeed, there are some matters I need to trouble Elder Chen with. Mu Chen said, you are the Holy Lord. If you have something to say, just say it. Ji Yu Hanyu said, this matter may put Elder Chen in a difficult position. Mu Chen didn't speak. He was waiting for Ji Yu Hanyu to continue. Ji Yu Hanyu briefly explained her situation with Lin Moyu. Mu Chen finally opened his eyes and looked at Lin Moyu. His voice was low, Holy Lord, do you know the rules of the Holy Land? Ji Yu Hanyu said, Hanyu understands, but rules are made by people and can naturally be changed. Mu Chen shook his head, indeed, rules can be changed. But currently you don't have the ability to change them. If you want to change them, wait until you become a 9th level elder. Ji Yu Hanyu sighed lightly. She knew from the start that Mu Chen definitely wouldn't support her. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, Elder Mu Chen, this junior Lin Moyu would like to make a deal with Elder. If this junior can cure Elder's Tao partner's injuries, would Elder then stand on Hanyu's side? Mu Chen's eyes suddenly blazed with light, What did you say? Lin Moyu calmly said, I mean exactly what I said. Please consider it, elder. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3346. 3346. Chapter 3346. Elder Chen with principles but no bottom line. Mu Chen replied without hesitation, if you can save this Mu's Dao partner, this Mu would even help you fight your way out of the Holy Land if needed. Lin Moyu realized that Mu Chen was a man of principle. His principle was his Dao partner. As long as his Dao partner could be saved, there was no line he wouldn't cross, nothing he wouldn't be willing to do. This kind of person was easy to deal with once you understood their principles, much easier than those who were always hesitant. Hearing Mu Chen's answer, Ji Yu Hanyu was stunned on the spot. Not just Ji Yu Hanyu, even little Mei was stunned. One was the current Holy Lord, the other a former 9th level elder, and both were from the Ji Yu family with deep feelings for the Coldwater Holy Land. Mu Chen's words were hard for them to accept for a moment. Mu Chen said, Holy Lord need not mind Mu Chen's words. For Mu Chen, Hanzu is more important than anything. Mu Chen does not intend to betray the Coldwater Holy Land. The Coldwater Holy Land is also Mu Chen's home. Ji Yu Hanyu understood Mu Chen's thoughts a little better. It could only be said that Mu Chen's love for Ji Yu Hanzu surpassed everything. For Ji Yu Hanzu, Mu Chen could give up his own home, but that didn't mean he didn't care about this home. Lin Moyu smiled and said, it's not that dramatic. We just need Elder Mu Chen to speak up for us when the time comes. If we really wanted to fight our way out of the Holy Land, Elder Mu Chen wouldn't need to act. If this junior wanted to take someone away, they couldn't stop me. Mu Chen looked at Lin Moyu, I don't know if you're boasting, but I feel you're very confident in your abilities. Lin Moyu smiled, I'll treat Elder's Dao partner's injuries first. We can discuss the rest after she's healed. Saying this, he walked towards the crystal ceiling Ji Yu Hanzu. Mu Chen didn't stop him, but kept watching Lin Moyu closely. If Lin Moyu made any unusual moves, he naturally wouldn't be polite. Lin Moyu came to the edge of the self-sealing crystal. Elder Mu, please remove the profound ice formation and release the self-sealing. Lin Moyu could actually do this himself, but with Mu Chen present, it wasn't his place to act. Mu Chen said to Lin Moyu, how certain are you? Lin Moyu said, 100%. Mu Chen looked at Ji Yu Hanyu. Ji Yu Hanyu said, I trust him. Mu Chen nodded and waved his hand. The profound ice formation stopped with a boom, and the temperature began to rise rapidly. Then the crystal began to melt as the self-sealing was released. The reason Mu Chen agreed so readily was because he truly had no other options. It had been so many years, and self-sealing had time limits. The longer one was self-sealed, the slimmer the hope of recovery. Now with Lin Moyu's appearance, brought by Ji Yu Hanyu, Mu Chen had to at least try. Under the undead eye, Lin Moyu saw Ji Yu Hanzu's soul flame begin to flicker again, like a heartbeat, growing stronger. But due to the severe injury, the soul was incomplete. This strength was just an illusion. The soul was gradually dispersing as it flickered, at risk of collapse at any time. Everyone present could clearly sense that Ji Yu Hanzu's soul was moving step by step towards decay. If not stopped, it wouldn't be long before the soul completely collapsed. Without another word, Lin Moyu released a soul flower from his palm, which quickly landed on Ji Yu Hanzu. The soul flower bloomed, enveloping Ji Yu Hanzu within. The soul flower contained miraculous power. The soul that had been moving towards decay immediately calmed. Then, the soul's aura began to grow stronger. Not only did it stop decaying, it began to recover. Joy appeared in Mu Chen's eyes. He seemed to see hope, it's really starting to recover. Lin Moyu said, this Lin keeps his word. If I say I can save her, I definitely can. But this Lin is curious, how is Elder Hanzu injured? I observe that Elder Hanzu's soul seems to have traces of the soul void. Mu Chen sighed deeply, it was all because of me. At that time, we were curious and wanted to see the soul void. We knew the soul void was dangerous and easy to get lost in, so we didn't plan to go far, just wanted to look around nearby. As luck would have it, we hadn't flown far when we encountered an object. Our soul sense told us this thing would be extremely beneficial for our souls, so we tried to obtain it. That thing was flying towards us, and we didn't dare leave the soul world too far, so we waited there. We waited a long time. Finally we got our hands on it, but along with that thing came a terrifying being. We fought with that being. We were no match and could only flee. In the end, though we obtained that object, Hanzu was injured by that being. To be honest, this Mu reaching 9th level Dao Venerable was thanks to that object. But the price paid was too great. If we could do it again, this Mu would never go to the soul void. For Mu Chen, living happily with his loved one every day, even at a lower realm, was better than the current situation. Mu Chen looked at his wife in the crystal every day. No matter how high his cultivation, it was useless to him. Now, he finally saw hope. Mu Chen promised Lin Moyu, young friend can rest assured. Regarding your matter with Holy Lord Hanyu, this Mu will certainly stand on young friend's side. In this world, true love is most precious. The Holy Land's rules indeed need to be changed. Looking at Mu Chen's serious expression, Lin Moyu thought to himself, this Elder Chen is truly a love-struck fool. There were countless people truly in love in the world, but few could match his devotion. Lin Moyu knew that he had broken through the three-way balance of power in the Coldwater Holy Land. If Ji Yu Kang could also stand on his side, along with Mu Chen, his matter with Ji Yu Hanyu would be much easier. Originally it didn't need to be this troublesome. As long as Ji Yu Hanyu was willing, he could just take her away. Though the Coldwater Holy Land was strong, at most they were only equal to the Netherworld race. They were far from enough to stop him. If Lin Moyu was willing, he could forcefully attack the Coldwater Holy Land. There was no need to negotiate with them at all. The reason he did this was to consider Ji Yu Hanyu's feelings. After all, this was her home. He didn't want her to have any regrets. One soul flower was exhausted, and Ji Yu Hanzu's soul had recovered 70 to 80%. However, a special force was still preventing the soul from fully recovering. This force came from that mysterious being in the soul void. The power of the soul void was different from the origin continent, making it troublesome to clear. But this wasn't a big problem for Lin Moyu. It was just a matter of using 9 more soul flowers. As long as Ji Yu Hanzu hadn't reached pseudo-Great Dao realm, her injuries hadn't exceeded the Dao Venerable realm, and the damage wasn't caused by heavenly punishment, the soul flowers could heal it. With each soul flower used, Ji Yu Hanzu's soul recovered a bit more. After 3 soul flowers, the special aura on Ji Yu Hanzu's soul was completely cleared. The 4th soul flower completely healed Ji Yu Hanzu's injuries. Ji Yu Hanzu slowly opened her eyes, looking around with a hint of confusion. Mu Chen immediately occupied all of Ji Yu Hanzu's vision. Hanzu, how do you feel? Love makes one anxious. Though he knew Ji Yu Hanzu had recovered, Mu Chen, a 9th level elder, still asked such a childish question. Lin Moyu said, let's go out first. Let's not disturb them. Ji Yu Hanyu's eyes held envy. Alright, let's go back first. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3347, 3347. Chapter 3347, Destruction is easier than construction. In others' eyes, Ji Yu Hanyu was extremely cold and aloof. Even in the eyes of her fellow disciples in the Holy Land, Ji Yu Hanyu was like a queen, high above others. But in that moment just now, Lin Moyu clearly saw that Ji Yu Hanyu also envied beautiful love. Perhaps this was her true nature, or perhaps it was due to the influence of the intertwined branch. Which it was couldn't be distinguished anymore, nor did it need to be. Lin Moyu gently held Ji Yu Hanyu's hand. Though he said nothing, it was as if everything had been said. The warmth from Lin Moyu's palm turned into a hot current, warming Ji Yu Hanyu's heart. Returning to Ji Yu Kang's courtyard, Ji Yu Kang had not yet returned. Clearly he was still discussing with the elders. What specific result they would reach didn't really matter in Lin Moyu's eyes. There were only two possible outcomes: everyone getting along harmoniously, or him using virtue to subdue them. Ji Yu Hanyu asked softly, "What have you experienced these years?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Do you mean my cultivation?" Ji Yu Hanyu nodded. "Back then I knew you went to the eastern continent, coincidentally encountering chaos there. Later some things happened in the Holy Land too. By the time things were mostly dealt with, I had lost news of you. But fortunately with the intertwined branch, I could vaguely sense that you were still alive." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "I've had quite a few fortuitous encounters these years. In the eastern continent, I built a small power, establishing a foothold." Ji Yu Hanyu said, "I went to the eastern continent when I was young. It's a bit chaotic there, with frequent beast tides, and the Eastern Spirit Empire is also too mysterious." As the Holy Lord of the Cold Water Holy Land, Ji Yu Hanyu naturally knew about the Eastern Spirit Empire, but she didn't know the deeper things. She only knew that the Eastern Spirit Empire occasionally stirred up beast tides, destroying various cities in the Eastern continent, and was one of the sources of chaos there. Additionally, there were conflicts between various races in the Eastern continent, often fighting over resources. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "My place is a bit remote, but relatively safe. I have good relationships with the three ancestors and the new emperor of the Eastern Spirit Empire. Plus my power isn't large, so it won't affect their interests. Therefore, there shouldn't be any problems." Ji Yu Hanyu nodded, "That's good. Seeing you today, I know you've been doing well. But this matter of ours is actually very difficult. Even if Elder Chen stands on our side, changing the rules set by the ancestors won't be easy." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "For you, I'm willing to discuss rules with them. If they don't want to change, then I can only use virtue to subdue them." Hearing, "using virtue to subdue," again, Ji Yu Hanyu couldn't help but give him a sidelong glance. "You're just boasting. Although you're formidable, this is the Cold Water Holy Land. It's not as easy as you say. Just the formations here are a big problem." Lin Moyu's eyes lit up. "I forgot about the formations." Saying this, Lin Moyu looked up at the surroundings. In his eyes, the structure of the formations appeared. The Cold Water Holy Land's main formation was called the Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation. As Holy Lord, Ji Yu Hanyu had partial control over the Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation, but the true control wasn't in her hands. It was in the hands of several elders. The Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation wasn't a single formation, but composed of hundreds of formations of varying sizes and functions, controlled by one unified large formation. The Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation was incredibly powerful. Using the Cold Water Holy Land's 8th grade origin spirit vein, once activated its power was comparable to an 8th grade formation. Even a 9th level Dao Venerable couldn't easily escape unscathed. That's why Ji Yu Hanyu said that if they fought, Lin Moyu would have trouble getting past just the main formation. Moreover, once fighting started, her formation authority would be revoked. She wouldn't be able to control the formations at all then. Lin Moyu took a few minutes to completely see through the structure of the Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation. This kind of formation group composed of many formations was indeed powerful, but dismantling it was much easier than a true 8th grade formation. It couldn't stump him at all. After seeing it clearly, Lin Moyu began drawing runes. At the same time, origin crystals flew out, leaving the valley and flying into the distance. Seeing Lin Moyu's actions, Ji Yu Hanyu realized he was actually targeting the Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation. She couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, "What are you doing?" Lin Moyu said, "Making some slight modifications. Hanyu didn't mention it earlier, so I forgot. In case we fall out, this formation can't become a weapon against us. Now I'm making some slight changes to make it usable for me." Watching Lin Moyu's flowing actions, the shock in Ji Yu Hanyu's eyes grew stronger. "Your attainment in formations is actually this high." She knew very well how complex the Nine Extremes Cold Sky Formation was. This formation comparable to 8th grade seemed to become very simple in Lin Moyu's eyes. Either Lin Moyu's attainment in formations was too strong, or he was just messing around carelessly. Careless messing around was impossible. Ji Yu Hanyu was the Holy Lord after all, at 6th level Dao Venerable. She had that much discernment. Lin Moyu didn't show any modesty. Your husband's attainment in formations, though not top tier, has barely reached 8th grade. 8th grade. Ji Yu Hanyu's beautiful eyes widened. She couldn't believe her ears. Lin Moyu actually said he had reached 8th grade. There were only a few 8th grade formation masters in the entire origin continent. In the Cold Water Holy Land's history, there had only been one peak 7th grade formation master, and that was achieved by using vast resources to build up to it. In just these few years, Lin Moyu had to cultivate and comprehend formations. She really didn't know how he did it. Ji Yu Hanyu felt that compared to Lin Moyu, what she had been cultivating was child's play. While she was shocked, Lin Moyu continued, if this formation were a single 8th grade formation, it would indeed be difficult to modify. But it's actually only a 7th grade formation, using the origin spirit vein plus multiple formations combined to barely reach 8th grade level. So modifying it is much easier. Destruction is always easier than construction, isn't it? Indeed, setting up a new 9 extremes cold sky formation from scratch wouldn't be easy. It would be time-consuming and labor-intensive, and would have to consider terrain, origin spirit veins, and various other conditions. But just making some modifications was much simpler. After all, the formation was already there. Previous generations planted the tree, so naturally it was easy for him to enjoy the shade. Lin Moyu moved quickly, his hands blurring, yet gracefully, like a visual feast. Ji Yu Hanyu was somewhat entranced watching. Lin Moyu became increasingly mysterious in her heart, as if shrouded in a fog of mystery. She very much wanted to see clearly behind the mist, to see what the real Lin Moyu was like. A few minutes later, Lin Moyu took out a jade tablet. Several runes flew onto the jade tablet, instantly turning it into a formation disc. The formation disc looked plain and unremarkable, no different from ordinary formation discs. Lin Moyu handed the formation disc to Ji Yu Hanyu. Through this formation disc, you can fully control the 9 extremes cold sky formation. Before it's activated, the 9 extremes cold sky formation is the same as before, without any changes. As for how to use it, or whether to use it, that's for Hanyu to decide. Ji Yu Hanyu took the formation disc and nodded slightly, all right. As the Holy Lord in charge of the Holy Land, she was naturally decisive, knowing what decisions to make at what times. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3348. 3348. Chapter 3348. This Lin also doesn't want to be enemies with Elder. Without anyone knowing, the Cold Water Holy Land had already been infiltrated. The main formation, the 9 extremes cold sky formation, had silently fallen into Ji Yu Hanyu's hands. If they really turned hostile in the end, just this 9 extremes cold sky formation would be enough for them to escape. As a member of the Ji Yu family, Ji Yu Hanyu naturally didn't want to turn against her own clan unless absolutely necessary. After finishing all this, Lin Moyu leisurely drank tea. Little May, what do you think of what your teacher has done? Little May blinked. Of course Little May looks with her eyes. Whatever teacher does, Little May supports. Lin Moyu seemed to joke, what if I did the same as in the Netherworld race? Little May shook her head, teacher wouldn't. Otherwise, teacher mother definitely wouldn't let teacher off. Lin Moyu was amused by Little May, indeed, I wouldn't. Listening to their conversation, Ji Yu Hanyu was a bit confused. First, Little May's attitude was really strange. This disciple looked only 13 or 14 years old, but her speech didn't seem like that of a 13 or 14-year-old, too mature. And why did they bring up the Netherworld race? What did that mysterious Netherworld race have to do with anything? Ji Yu Hanyu asked, why mention the netherworld race? Lin Moyu said casually, I went to the western continent earlier, to get something from the netherworld race. They weren't very cooperative, so I accidentally wiped them out. What? You massacred the netherworld race? Ji Yu Hanyu exclaimed, losing her composure for a moment. Though she had never been to the netherworld race, the extremely mysterious netherworld race that had existed for ages was not much weaker than the Coldwater Holy Land in strength. For them to survive for so long between the dragon race and the Hundred Herbs Alliance, they must have had their unique strengths. But Lin Moyu actually said he wiped out the netherworld race. This was simply unimaginable. Lin Moyu nodded slightly, so there's no need to worry. The Coldwater Holy Land can't stop us, unless you yourself are unwilling. Ji Yu Hanyu stiffened slightly, then sighed lightly, actually, I don't know what the right thing to do is. The Ji Yu family birthed and raised me. I grew up and cultivated here from childhood, eventually managing the Holy Land. In the future, when I become an elder and retire, living out my days alone, my life will already be set. I just never expected that you and I would. Lin Moyu smiled and said, you can't tell if it's real feelings or the influence of the intertwined branch, right? Ji Yu Hanyu shook her head, it's not that. I often consider this question, but can never figure it out. Later I realized there's no need to consider these things. Even if it's the influence of the intertwined branch, it's already deeply ingrained in our souls, inseparable. When you said before that you'd come marry me, though I thought it was just a joke, I was actually quite happy at the time. I didn't expect you'd really come. Lin Moyu gently held Ji Yu Hanyu's hand, then you should have decided, right? Ji Yu Hanyu said, I had already decided when you came. Lin Moyu smiled, that's good then. As long as you have no problems, other issues aren't problems. For Lin Moyu, the most important thing was Ji Yu Hanyu's attitude. As long as she had no issues, nothing else was a problem. As the two talked, Little May drank cup after cup of tea beside them, continuing to be a qualified bystander. A moment later, Ji Yu Kang finally returned. Judging by his expression, things didn't seem to have gone well. Lin Moyu had roughly guessed the result. Elder, did things not go smoothly? Lin Moyu asked with a smile. Having already known Ji Yu Hanyu's choice, he was no longer under pressure. Ji Yu Kang said, it's alright, just that old hag Ji Yu Hanbing is too stubborn. This old man had an argument with her. Lin Moyu smiled and said, we're all family. It's normal to argue occasionally. The most important thing is the final result. Ji Yu Kang said, this old man proposed that this rule could be changed. After all, our Holy Land has quite a few women who marry outside. Why can't the Holy Lord marry? If the Holy Lord gives up her position, then she's no longer the Holy Lord, right? But that old hag Ji Yu Hanbing. This aligned with Lin Moyu's thoughts, but clearly, Ji Yu Hanbing didn't think this way. Lin Moyu asked, Elder Ice doesn't agree, right? Ji Yu Kang said, exactly. She insists that rules are rules and absolutely cannot be changed. No matter what this old man said, she stuck to that. So this old man started arguing with her. It's not the first time we've argued anyway, I'm used to it. We argued for a long time without result. Then Mu Chen came. Surprisingly, that girl Hanzu's injuries were healed. Ice and I were both very surprised. Mu Chen said Lin had healed Hanzu's injuries. He firmly stood on Lin's side, advocating for changing the rules. This old man thought that would settle it, but unexpectedly that old hag Ice still stubbornly disagreed. That stubborn old hag. Just as Ji Yu Kang finished speaking, a sharp rebuke sounded from outside the valley, Old Kang, who are you cursing? Do you want a beating? Hearing the voice, Ji Yu Kang's expression changed slightly. He turned to look while shouting, who else but you stubborn old hag. You're asking for it. With a shout, a powerful force rushed in, turning into a giant ice and snow palm, slapping down from the sky. She attacked as soon as she spoke, not giving Ji Yu Kang any face at all. Ji Yu Kang didn't hold back either, immediately retaliating. A fist and palm collided in midair, the aftershocks nearly shattering the surrounding glaciers. Fortunately, there were formations nearby that blocked their power. Ji Yu Hanyu whispered in Lin Moyu's ear, that's Elder Ice. Lin Moyu nodded slightly, his gaze on the newcomer. Ji Yu Hanbing appeared middle-aged, beautiful, dressed very luxuriously, with a noble lady's aura. Though no longer young, she was far from the old hag Ji Yu Kang had described. Given Ji Yu Hanbing's age and cultivation, she indeed couldn't be called an old hag among Dao venerables. Ji Hanbing walked in with a frosty expression, accompanied by several elders. Mu Chen was among them, with a woman beside him, his Dao partner Ji Hanzu. Though Ji Hanzu wasn't an elder, no one dared say anything about Mu Chen bringing her given his status. After striking once, Ji Hanbing didn't attack again. As fellow elders of the Coldwater Holy Land, they still had this much restraint. She glared fiercely at Ji Kang. Next time you talk nonsense, I'll definitely tear your mouth. Ji Kang snorted lightly. You think this old man is afraid of you? If we really fought, who knows whose mouth would be torn first? Lin Moyu could tell that although Ji Kang wouldn't back down verbally, his words seemed to lack confidence. It seemed they had fought before, with Ji Kang losing. Ji Hanyu bowed slightly to the elders. Hanyu greets the elders. Ji Hanbing waved her hand. No need for formalities, Holy Lord. You are the Holy Lord, your status no lower than ours. No need to be so polite. She clearly had an all-business attitude, neither friendly nor distant. Just from this, Lin Moyu already understood her personality. No matter how good she was in private, it wouldn't affect official matters. Ji Hanbing looked Lin Moyu over. You are Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. Greetings, elder. Ji Hanbing didn't have a good expression. No need to call me that. We may become enemies soon. Lin Moyu said, unless absolutely necessary. This Lin also doesn't want to be enemies with elder. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3349, 3349. Chapter 3349, only the ancestors can break the ancestors' rules. Lin Moyu spoke neither humbly nor arrogantly, not forceful but also not retreating an inch. His meaning was clear. If it really came to blows, he wasn't afraid of her either. Ji Hanbing looked Lin Moyu over with interest, as if trying to see where his confidence came from. However, when she saw Lin Moyu's age, she was still a bit shocked. Lin Moyu was simply too young. Those so-called geniuses were nothing compared to Lin Moyu. Even she herself hadn't even touched the edges of Dao Venerable realm at 3,000 years old. What a terrifying genius, Ji Hanbing thought to herself, labeling Lin Moyu. In her mind, it was best not to provoke someone like Lin Moyu. Once provoked, it would be best to kill him. If he couldn't be killed, he would be in endless trouble in the future. But now even if she wanted to attack and kill Lin Moyu, not only would Ji Kang disagree, even Mu Chen would stop her. Ji Hanzu had just been saved by Lin Moyu. Mu Chen certainly wouldn't stand idly by. At this time, Ji Hanbing noticed Little Mei and frowned slightly, thinking to herself, why does this little girl look somewhat familiar? But in her memory, she had never met Little Mei. Little Mei was only 13 years old, and in these 13 years she had never left the Coldwater Holy Land. The people she had met could be counted on one hand. Unable to recall, she could only say Little Mei perhaps resembled someone in her memory. All these thoughts flashed through her mind in an instant. On the surface, no one could tell she had thought so much in that moment, not even Lin Moyu. After all, she was an old fox who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. She had reached the pinnacle of maintaining a poker face. At this time, Ji Hanzu walked over supported by Mu Chen. She gracefully bowed to Lin Moyu. Hanzu, thanks Lin for saving me. It's all thanks to Lin that Hanzu can see my husband again. This gratitude is boundless. If Lin has any requests, Hanzu wouldn't dare refuse. Mu Chen also said at the same time, Lin, just say the word. Mu Chen certainly won't decline. Mu Chen had already made his stance clear. As long as Lin Moyu spoke up, he would help Lin Moyu. Even if not directly opposing the Coldwater Holy Land, at least he would protect Lin Moyu and Ji Hanyu in leaving the Coldwater Holy Land. At this point, Ji Hanbing's expression became slightly unpleasant. She could certainly understand the meaning in Mu Chen's words. Mu Chen's words were not only for Lin Moyu to hear, but also for her to hear. Ji Yu Kang laughed heartily. You see. Elder Chen has already stated his position. 3 against 2. If you insist on this, you actually can't change anything. Don't turn a good thing into a bad thing. You should know that with Lin's talent, his future achievements will certainly surpass yours and mine. A friend like Lin is what others can only dream of, yet you want to push him away. Do you believe that if Lin just said the word, those elders would be falling over themselves to wash their holy maidens clean and offer them up? Ji Yu Kang spoke bluntly, but his words were not without reason. These elders all understood that this was indeed the case. Not to mention anything else, just being at 4th level Dao Venerable at 3,000 years old was enough to drive those elders crazy. Ji Yu Hanbing coldly snorted, even if you all agree, this ancestor won't agree. The ancestor's rules can't be broken just by saying so. Lin Moyu's ears perked up, hearing the hidden meaning, then can Elder Ice say how the ancestor's rules can be broken? Ji Yu Hanbing said softly, to break the ancestor's rules, this ancestor's word doesn't count. Only the ancestor's word counts. Lin Moyu frowned, please explain in detail, Elder Ice. Ji Yu Kang's brow twitched, old hag, you're not going to make Lin go there, are you? Ji Yu Hanbing's eyes glared fiercely, call me old hag again, and see if this ancestor doesn't immediately turn hostile. Seeing Ji Yu Hanbing seemed truly angry, Ji Yu Kang immediately backed down, alright, this old man will be careful in the future. Are you really going to make Lin go there? Ji Yu Hanbing said, that's right. This ancestor said, rules set by the ancestors can only be changed by the ancestors. No one else can do it. Ji Yu Hanyu seemed to realize something, her face changing drastically, no, he can't go there. Seeing Ji Yu Hanyu suddenly become so anxious, Lin Moyu asked curiously, what place? Ji Yu Hanyu said word by word, 9 Extremes Glacier. Lin Moyu asked, is that where the 9 Extremes Glacier tea comes from? Is it very dangerous? Ji Yu Hanyu nodded, very dangerous. You can't go. Ji Yu Kang said softly, Elder Ice, you're really making things difficult. Ji Yu Hanbing's expression was serious as she said decisively, this ancestor has said, only the ancestors can change the ancestors' rules. If anyone wants to break the ancestors' rules, this ancestor won't agree even at the cost of her life. If you try to force it, at worst we'll perish together. This ancestor will use blood to summon spirits, and won't let you leave. Using blood to summon spirits meant using one's own blood to awaken the spirits of the ancestors. For a holy land like the Coldwater Holy Land that had been passed down for countless years, it naturally had its foundation. At critical moments, the ancestors' spirits could be awakened, but after awakening, the foundation would be lost and destiny would decline. This would be an irreparable loss for the Coldwater Holy Land. It might even lead to the decline of the Holy Land in serious cases. Ji Yu Kang's expression was also grave, Elder Ice, this is such a small matter. Do you really have to go to this extent? Ji Yu Hanbing laughed coldly, rules are the biggest matter. If rules are broken, the Holy Land will eventually collapse. You and Mu Chen together, I admit I'm no match. But you can't stop this ancestor from using blood to summon spirits. At this point, Ji Yu Hanbing seemed somewhat crazed. She also had her trump card, a trump card she was willing to use even at the cost of mutual destruction. Ji Yu Kang was speechless for a moment, Elder Ice, you've really gone mad. Ji Yu Hanbing said coldly, this is just this ancestor's personality. Don't you know that? The atmosphere seemed to grow increasingly tense. Lin Moyu said, Elder Ice, let's talk about the 9 Extremes Glacier. Even if you want me to go, you should first tell me what kind of place it is, right? Ji Yu Hanbing glanced at Lin Moyu, Hanyu, you're the Holy Lord. You tell him. Ji Yu Hanyu's expression was extremely unpleasant at this moment. She shook her head at Lin Moyu, really, don't go. Lin Moyu said, it's alright, tell me first. Let your husband hear if it's really that dangerous. Trust your husband. As he spoke, Lin Moyu gently squeezed Ji Yu Hanyu's soft hand, indicating for her not to worry. Ji Yu Hanyu sighed helplessly, the 9 Extremes Glacier is our Coldwater Holy Land's forbidden ground. It's a glacier of unknown depth, getting colder the deeper you go. The ancestors called the glacier 9 Extremes, dividing it into 9 regions, with each extreme every 10,000 miles. The deeper you go, the colder it gets. Even a 9th level Dao Venerable like Elder Ice can at most reach the 7th extreme. This is only because Elder Ice cultivates the Ice Great Tao. Other Great Tao 9th level Tao Venerables couldn't even reach the 7th extreme. It's said that beneath the 9 extremes glacier lie the ancestors. Elder Ice wants you to go beneath the 9th extreme to find the ancestors, to have them personally change the rules. According to Holy Land records, the ancestors' heroic spirits exist eternally, immortal and indestructible beneath the 9th extreme. After she finished, Lin Moyu asked curiously, is it just low temperature? There should be other dangers, right? Since it's a glacier of unknown depth, how is it divided into 9 extremes? 9 extremes is only 90,000 miles. What about after that? Ji-Yu Hanyu said, after the 9th extreme is endless, the endless glacier. From the 4th extreme of the 9 extremes glacier, eternal ice winds appear, as well as glacier beasts. These are all dangers. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3350, 3350. Chapter 3350. This Lin has trodden on a sea of blood, slaughtering countless. Ji-Yu Hanyu explained the 9 extremes glacier in detail, telling everything she knew. She understood Lin Moyu. Though he hadn't said he would go yet, he had actually already decided to go. Ji-Yu Hanyu felt somewhat moved. She knew Lin Moyu had the ability to take her away, but that would make her a sinner to the Coldwater Holy Land. Lin Moyu was unwilling to let her become that, so he was willing to go to the 9 extremes glacier. Though the intertwined branch hadn't allowed the two to truly understand each other's hearts, it did allow them to sense some of each other's thoughts at times. After listening, Lin Moyu muttered to himself, 9 extremes glacier, 1 extreme every 10,000 miles, getting colder the deeper you go. From the 4th extreme there will be eternal ice winds and glacier beasts, plus the low temperature. These 3 points are the dangers of the 9 extremes glacier. Besides this, the difficulty is how to find your Holy Land's ancestors. What if they're not in the 9th extreme, but further down in the endless glacier? How should I search then? The last half of his words were directed at Ji-Yu Hanbing. Since she was sending him, she had to tell him how to search. Otherwise, in that vast expanse, it would be less reliable than searching for a needle in the boundary sea. Ji-Yu Hanbing said, naturally you can't search blindly. This jade tablet will produce a reaction within a certain range. Ji-Yu Hanbing took out a pure white jade tablet. Lin Moyu saw at a glance that a trace of the Ji-Yu family bloodline was fused into the jade tablet. The Holy Land's ancestors were also from the Ji-Yu family. Searching through bloodline was indeed a good method. Ji-Yu Hanbing said, the Holy Lord has already explained the situation of the 9 extremes glacier. Whether to go or not, you decide for yourself. If you don't go, this ancestor won't allow you to break the rules even if it means mutual destruction. If you go, you bear the consequences of life and death yourself. Ji-Yu Hanbing handed the decision back to Lin Moyu, to see if he dared to go. Ji-Yu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu, it's really too dangerous. Don't go. Even their 9th level Tao Venerable cultivators of the Ice Great Tao had difficulty reaching the 9th extreme of the 9 extremes glacier. How could an outsider enter? No matter how strong Lin Moyu's combat power was, he was only at 4th level Tao Venerable. The difference was simply too great. Moreover, the eternal ice winds and glacier beasts after the 4th extreme were extremely dangerous existences. One couldn't go without being at least a 7th level elder. Lin Moyu gave Ji-Yu Hanyu a reassuring look and said loudly, since this Lin began cultivating, he has killed countless lives. Where he stands is a sea of blood. Along the way he has explored countless secret realms and slaughtered countless powerful beings. This time, for Hanyu's sake, this Lin agrees to Elder Ice's request to go to the 9 extremes glacier. But this Lin also has words to say in advance. If your Holy Land's ancestors are like Elder Ice, unwilling to change the rules, then don't blame this Lin for being heavy-handed. Moreover, when this Lin returns will be when he takes Hanyu away. Whoever tries to stop me then, perhaps there will no longer be a cold water holy land in the future. As he spoke, killing intent boiled up from Lin Moyu's body. The terrifying killing intent dispersed the cold of the glacier, enveloping a large area of mountains. It was as if night had fallen. The sky involuntarily darkened, and even the light of the sun and moon origin couldn't shine down. The elders' expressions changed. Though their cultivation was strong, they couldn't be like Lin Moyu, treading on a sea of blood. They had never imagined that one person's killing intent could reach this level. How many people would one have to kill to condense such killing intent? Even the legendary Star Lord Zhao who presided over slaughter had killing intent far inferior to Lin Moyu's. Lin Moyu's killing intent was already heavy to begin with. Add to that his previous sweeping through the netherworld, great battle with withering and flourishing elder, and slaughter of countless insect race beings, and his killing intent was even more concentrated than before. Under the killing intent, even the great Tao trembled. Some elders were even shaken in their Tao hearts by the impact of the killing intent. Ji Yu Hanyu was deeply moved at this moment. What Lin Moyu said was exactly the same as what she had sensed earlier. She secretly made up her mind that as long as Lin Moyu could return, even if they really left the cold water holy land, she would accompany Lin Moyu in breaking out. Mu Chen gave Lin Moyu an approving look. Lin Moyu's words very much suited his temperament. If it were him, he would do the same. Only Ji Yu Kang's eyes were full of gravity at this time. Others didn't know Lin Moyu, but he knew a thing or two. Lin Moyu's words weren't exaggerated at all. He could really do what he said. After the killing intent persisted for several seconds, it gradually dissipated. Lin Moyu said to Ji Yu Hanbing, "Elder Ice, let's set out." Ji Yu Hanbing handed the jade tablet to Lin Moyu and asked again to confirm, "Are you sure?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "This Lin has been to even more dangerous places. What's there to fear about the mere 9 Extremes Glacier?" Ji Yu Hanbing said to Ji Yu Hanyu, "Holy Lord, teleport us." Now Ji Yu Hanyu was still the Holy Lord. The only one who could teleport freely within the Holy Land was Ji Yu Hanyu. Ji Yu Hanyu took a deep breath and directly used the Origin Spirit Vein to teleport. The 9 Extremes Glacier was the cold water Holy Land's forbidden ground. This place was enveloped by formations. Even disciples of the cold water Holy Land couldn't come here. Only 7th level and above elders and the Holy Lord had the right to come here. The 9 Extremes Glacier stretched as far as the eye could see. Everything in sight was a world of white. At the end of the glacier, it seemed to connect to endless darkness. Just standing outside the glacier, one could already feel its terror. With the rapidly dropping temperature, ordinary cultivators below celestial Venerable realms simply couldn't survive here. In the biting cold wind, a group of people appeared outside the glacier. Ji Yu Hanyu held Little Mei's hand, using her own power to protect Little Mei. Little Mei's realm was too low. She would freeze to death here. Ji Yu Hanyu pointed ahead, jumped down from there, and it's the first extreme of the 9 Extremes Glacier. You can't fly in the 9 Extremes Glacier, except at the connecting points between each extreme. Do you really want to go? Ji Yu Hanyu's gaze flickered. She was telling Lin Moyu that if he didn't want to go, she could instantly teleport away with him. She was still the Holy Lord and had the power to teleport. As long as she acted quickly, they could be a million miles from the cold water Holy Land in an instant. By the time Elder Ice and the others reacted, they would already be gone. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "I'll go. I can't let you have regrets. This is your maiden home after all. If we don't fall out, you can come back to visit sometimes." Ji Yu Hanyu knew Lin Moyu had made up his mind, "Then you must be careful." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Don't worry. I've been to even more dangerous places. The 9 Extremes Glacier is nothing. When I come back, be ready to become a Lin family bride." Ji Yu Hanyu said, "I'll send you in." To enter the glacier, 2 formations still needed to be opened. The 2 formations were controlled by 2 stone tablets. The formations were to prevent the cold air of the 9 Extremes Glacier from affecting the cold water Holy Land. Ji Yu Hanyu held Little Mei's hand and walked with Lin Moyu towards the 9 Extremes Glacier. The 3 of them cast long shadows, looking just like a family of 3. Coming to the stone tablet controlling the first formation, Ji Yu Hanyu began to manipulate the stone tablet to open the passage. Little Mei suddenly spoke up, "Teacher, the glacier beasts that appear from the 4th extreme of the 9 Extremes Glacier aren't actually that formidable. But from the 7th extreme, the glacier beasts become extremely terrifying." Especially when there are many of them, they can merge together to become glacier beast kings. You must be careful. Also, the glacier tea after the 7th extreme is good stuff. If you see any, you can collect some. Glacier tea from the 7th extreme onwards contains great Tao power and is very helpful for comprehending the great Tao. The effects of 8th and 9th extreme glacier tea are even stronger, but they're basically unobtainable. Even 9th level elders can hardly get them. Also, if you encounter a great eruption of glacier cold air, you can retreat to the connecting points between extremes to take shelter. The cold air is more terrifying at those times. You don't need to forcibly endure it. Ji Yu Hanyu was amazed. Even she as the Holy Lord didn't know these things Little May was saying. How could Little May, an outsider, know this? Asterisk 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 asterisk. All chapters have been translated and moved to the correct order. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3351, 3351. Chapter 3351. 9 Extremes Glacier, Cold Plum Sacred Blood. Ji Yu Hanyu had felt there was something strange about Little May from the beginning. She seemed to know a lot about the Coldwater Holy Land's affairs. Moreover, the aura emanating from Little May gave her a sense of familiarity. However, she was currently controlling the formation and had no time to deal with Little May. The formation covering the entrance to the 9 Extremes Glacier did not belong to the 9 Extremes Cold Sky Formation. Its power was extremely strong and very complex to control, preventing her from being distracted. As the formation was activated, a screen of light appeared in the previously empty space, with countless complex runes flashing and moving on it. Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that these runes were divine talismans from prehistoric times. The appearance of divine talismans indicated this formation had existed since prehistoric times, with a history far more ancient than the 9 Extremes Cold Sky Formation. Comparing it to the history of the Coldwater Holy Land, it meant this formation existed before the Coldwater Holy Land appeared. If that was the case, why were the Coldwater Holy Land's ancestors beneath the 9 Extremes Glacier? Was there some other secret involved? A doorway appeared within the light screen. The moment it opened, a blast of frigid air cold enough to freeze Nirvana realm beings rushed out. Ji Yu Hanyu said, "Let's go, there's still a second formation." The second formation was behind the light screen, about 1,000 miles away. Between the two formations was a vast space 1,000 miles deep. This setup was very strange. Passing through the doorway, the temperature dropped sharply, as if entering another icy world. The cold from before was nothing compared to now. It was like comparing a small stream to a vast ocean. Yet this was still just the entrance to the 9 Extremes Glacier. They hadn't truly entered the 9 Extremes Glacier yet, not even reaching the first extreme. One could imagine how cold the 9 Extremes Glacier would be. At this time, Little May continued, "Teacher, do you know the purpose of these two formations?" Lin Moyu's gaze swept over them. This formation isolates the inside from the outside. Without the correct method, one cannot enter or exit. The formation in front, if I'm not mistaken, should be the same. Moreover, there isn't just one formation here. There's another formation in this space, just dormant. And beneath this glacier, there's an origin spirit vein, at least 8th grade, artificially sealed here. Lin Moyu's spiritual sense was simply too keen. The moment he entered, he had seen 7 or 8/10ths of the situation here. Little May exclaimed, "Wow, as expected of teacher, you can see all this." Beside them, Ji Yu Hanyu also had a strange expression. The questions Little May asked and the answers Lin Moyu gave, she actually knew none of it. She even doubted if she was really the Holy Lord of the Coldwater Holy Land. How could two outsiders know things she didn't know? Involuntarily, she cast a questioning look at Lin Moyu. As the Holy Lord, she had to maintain some face and couldn't directly ask little Mei, a child. Lin Moyu understood Ji Yuhanyu's thoughts and smiled slightly, no need to rush to ask. Little Mei will tell you the answer. Ji Yuhanyu glared at Lin Moyu, as if saying, who told you to say that? Little Mei continued, both formations come from prehistoric times. Their arrangement methods are completely different from modern formations. These two formations are extremely powerful, much more powerful than the 9 Extremes Cold Sky formation. Between these two formations, there's also a killing formation. But this killing formation isn't controlled by the Coldwater Holy Land. A clear picture had formed in Lin Moyu's mind. The two formations at the entrance of the 9 Extremes Glacier were like two city walls 1,000 miles apart. Their primary function was to prevent things from rushing out of the 9 Extremes Glacier. If the first wall fell, the killing formation would activate. It would annihilate the enemy before they could break through the second wall. Lin Moyu asked, what things would come out of the 9 Extremes Glacier? Little Mei said, I don't know. No one knows. Lin Moyu said softly, it seems the 9 Extremes Glacier isn't as simple as imagined. Little Mei let out a clear laugh, teacher, what did you think the 9 Extremes Glacier was like before? Lin Moyu said, this teacher originally thought the 9 Extremes Glacier was like the ancestral grounds of those demon races. Now it seems that's not the case. Ji Yuhanyu said softly, it's so dangerous. Why don't we not go? Lin Moyu shook his head, if we retreat at the sight of danger, I'm afraid Hanyu wouldn't think much of your husband. Ji Yuhanyu hurriedly said, I didn't mean that. Lin Moyu laughed, your husband was just joking with you. The Coldwater Holy Land is your home. Try not to leave regrets. Ji Yuhanyu nodded slightly, but I'm a bit worried. Don't worry, trust me. Lin Moyu squeezed Ji Yuhanyu's soft hand, giving her a reassuring look. The three crossed 1,000 miles to arrive before the second stone tablet. Ji Yuhanyu manipulated the stone tablet, activating the second formation. The second formation looked no different from the first. When the doorway opened, the cold air rushing out from the 9 Extremes Glacier was even more intense than before. Lin Moyu took a deep breath and said to Ji Yuhanyu, be good, wait for me to return. Ji Yuhanyu nodded, be very careful. Lin Moyu smiled and said, don't worry. As his words fell, Lin Moyu passed through the doorway, truly entering the 9 Extremes Glacier. Ji Yuhanyu stared at Lin Moyu walking further and further behind the formation until he disappeared from sight. Her eyes were full of concern. Little Mei said, no need to worry about teacher. Teacher could sweep through the netherworld and force away Withering and Flourishing Elder. The 9 Extremes Glacier is nothing. Ji Yuhanyu naturally knew of Withering and Flourishing Elder. He was a figure on par with the 3 ancestors and the Beast Emperor. For Lin Moyu to be able to force away Withering and Flourishing Elder, just how high had Lin Moyu's strength reached? In Ji Yuhanyu's view, facing Withering and Flourishing Elder was more terrifying than facing the Netherworld race. She was about to ask, but Little Mei spoke first, Teacher Mother, do you know why after becoming 7th level elders, they all have to come to the 9 Extremes Glacier to cultivate bitterly for a period of time? The Coldwater Holy Land had a rule that once one became a 7th level elder, they had to come to the 9 Extremes Glacier, open the 2 formations, and truly enter the 9 Extremes Glacier to cultivate for a period of time. This period could be as short as a few months or as long as several decades or even 100 years. Moreover, elders above 7th level would come to cultivate in the 9 Extremes Glacier for a period every so often. Every 10 years, the elders would also regularly come to the 9 Extremes Glacier to collect 9 Extremes Glacier tea. 9 Extremes Glacier tea was top-tier tea. Drinking it aided cultivation and had no side effects. It was more effective than many pills. With each additional extreme, the effects of 9 Extremes Glacier tea improved. As Holy Lord, Ji Yuhanyu could drink 3rd Extreme Glacier tea, occasionally 4th Extreme. Only 7th level elders could regularly enjoy 4th Extreme Glacier tea. This was all information Ji Yuhanyu knew. As for why they had to come here to cultivate, Ji Yuhanyu wasn't clear. She had never truly entered the 9 Extremes Glacier. Little Mei continued, the Ji Yu family has a special bloodline called Cold Plum Sacred Blood. However, not every Ji Yu family member possesses Cold Plum Sacred Blood. As for how to tell if one has Cold Plum Sacred Blood, you just need to see if a cold plum mark appears on the body when circulating the Great Tao. You definitely have it, otherwise you couldn't have become Holy Lord. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3352, 3352. Chapter 3352, A Shower of Plum Blossoms. Little May said more and more, much of which Ji-Yu Hanyu did not know. She had never known that the Ji-Yu family had something called cold plum sacred blood. The human race had never placed much emphasis on bloodlines, though there were various special physiques. But physique and bloodline were two different things that couldn't be compared. Yet what was this cold plum sacred blood that Little May spoke of? When cultivating and circulating the power of the Great Tao, a plum blossom would indeed appear on her wrist. But she had never known this was the so-called cold plum sacred blood, much less that it was related to her position as Holy Lord. Little May continued, it's normal that you don't know. The cold plum sacred blood has never been recorded. Only among the Ji-Yu family elders of 7th level and above is it passed down by word of mouth. Even if you asked Mu Chen, he wouldn't know. For the Ji-Yu family, the cold plum sacred blood is both an honor and a curse. With it, the Ji-Yu family can cultivate the Ice Great Tao with twice the result for half the effort. But at the same time, the Ji-Yu family cannot leave the 9 Extremes Glacier and must guard it forever. In the Ji-Yu family, to become Holy Lord, one must possess the cold plum bloodline. The cold plum bloodline has strong and weak versions. The weak show no signs, while the strong are born with the cold plum mark. Such people are rare. Those with the cold plum mark have a much higher probability of becoming Holy Lord than others. Ji-Yu Hanyu grew more and more shocked as she listened. She discovered that her understanding of the Ji-Yu family was so shallow. The Ji-Yu family seemed far more complex than the world knew. Little May continued, however, even if you have the cold plum mark, it only means your cold plum bloodline is very concentrated, but it hasn't truly awakened. To awaken it requires some other conditions. Some Ji-Yu family members may not appear to have the cold plum mark. This only means their bloodline isn't strong enough. After all, they are all Ji-Yu family members with the same blood. This is also why after becoming 7th level elders, they all come to the 9 Extremes Glacier. Those Ji-Yu family members without the cold plum mark may also awaken the cold plum sacred blood under the stimulation of the 9 Extremes Glacier. However, their bloodline will be slightly inferior to those born with the cold plum mark like you, and their upper limit will also be lower. For you, as long as you advance to 7th level, your bloodline can awaken naturally without coming to the 9 Extremes Glacier. If you come to the 9 Extremes Glacier early and use the right method, you can awaken it early. Ji-Yu Hanyu finally couldn't help asking, how do you know so much? Who exactly are you? Little May chuckled, because in my previous life I was a member of the Ji-Yu family. Previous life? A reincarnated person? Ji-Yu Hanyu's memories churned. Suddenly she realized Little May's identity, because only this explanation could truly make sense. Ji-Yu Hanyu covered her mouth, her beautiful eyes wide with disbelief. You are Ancestor May. Little May smiled lightly. After so many years, you can still recognize me. How rare. Ji-Yu Hanyu said, of course. Ancestor May has always been a legend in the Holy Land. At the height of her glory, Ancestor May resolutely chose to dissolve her cultivation and reincarnate. That Tao heart is unimaginable to ordinary people. Little May laughed crisply, you mean, no one would be as foolish as me? Her voice was clear, clearly a child's voice, but her tone was that of an elder. Ji-Yu Hanyu hurriedly denied, of course not. Hanyu deeply admires Ancestor May's heart for seeking the Tao. If Hanyu cultivates to 9th level Tao Venerable in the future and finds no way forward, she would also choose to dissolve her cultivation and reincarnate like Ancestor May. Even if dissolving cultivation and reincarnating fails, Hanyu would not regret it. Little May sighed lightly, dissolving cultivation and reincarnating is a last resort. As long as there's still a path, one wouldn't choose it. But if one really has to choose this path, the earlier the better. Like Ancestor Kang and Ancestor Ice, they've lost the chance to choose. But they're lucky, they've waited for a new path. Ji Yu Hanyu was a bit surprised. Ancestor Kang and Ancestor Ice have a new path. Little May nodded, yes, they've finally waited for a new path. Though the new path doesn't go far, at least they can take another step or two. They're very lucky, but not as lucky as you. Ji Yu Hanyu was a bit confused. Please enlighten me, Ancestor May. Little May said, because you met Teacher. With Teacher around, your path will go further and be easier to walk than theirs. Not just you, I'm also lucky. After dissolving my cultivation and reincarnating, I could meet Teacher. In this life I'll definitely go very far. You must be wondering why Ancestor Kang is so polite to Teacher. It's because Ancestor Kang's path was given by Teacher. To Ji Yu Hanyu, Little May's words seemed a bit outrageous. But because of Little May's identity, she didn't dare doubt and could only listen obediently. After finishing, Little May stretched lazily. It feels so good to say it out loud. I haven't been to this 9 Extremes Glacier for many years, I really miss it. Since we're waiting anyway, I'll tell you how to truly activate the Cold Plum Sacred Blood. Actually those rules really should be changed. Someone with talent like yours should really come to the 9 Extremes Glacier earlier to activate the Cold Plum Sacred Blood earlier. Let's go, we'll enter. As she spoke, Little May walked straight towards the open doorway. She left Ji Yu Hanyu's protection. With her current cultivation not even reaching True God Realm, she should have frozen to death instantly. But she didn't. Not only did Little May not freeze to death, she even looked comfortable, as if immune to the cold. Ji Yu Hanyu quickly caught up, then she saw a cold plum blossom appear on Little May's brow. The cold plum blossom was lifelike. The moment she saw it, Ji Yu Hanyu seemed to see endless plum blossoms falling from the sky. If there had been any doubt before, now Ji Yu Hanyu completely believed Little May. She was certain Little May was Ji Yu Hanmei from 200,000 years ago who had resolutely decided to dissolve her cultivation and reincarnate, Ancestor May. The two crossed the threshold one after another, truly entering the 9 Extremes Glacier. The cold intensified, the temperature dropping sharply again. Little May stood in the cold air, still without issue. With the Cold Plum Sacred Blood protecting your body, as long as you don't enter the depths of the 9 Extremes Glacier, mere cold air won't harm you. Now sit down and circulate the 9 Revolutions Ice method. Draw the cold air of the 9 Extremes Glacier into your body, use your soul to stimulate the Ice Great Tao, and let the two resonate. Use the dual power of the 9 Extremes Glacier and the Ice Great Tao to activate the Cold Plum Bloodline. Ji Yu Hanyu did as instructed, sitting down on the glacier and beginning to absorb the cold air of the 9 Extremes Glacier. The cold air of the 9 Extremes Glacier contained a strange power that could resonate with the Ice Great Tao, thereby activating the Cold Plum Sacred Blood. Ji Yu Hanyu had naturally awakened the Cold Plum Sacred Blood. Her bloodline strength was top tier in the Ji Yu family. Once she knew the cultivation method, it was easy to do. In just a few seconds, a strange aura burst from Ji Yu Hanyu's body. The aura exploded in midair, transforming into tens of thousands of cold plum blossoms falling down. The cold air from the 9 Extremes Glacier swept in, lifting tens of thousands of cold plum blossoms to dance and swirl in the air, like a dream. Watching this scene, Little May smiled with satisfaction. The bloodline is indeed powerful. With such a degree of bloodline, if it were me, I wouldn't let her leave the family either. What a pity. The Cold Plum Sacred Blood is both an honor and a curse. Let's go. As she spoke, Little May raised her small hand and gently pulled. A large amount of cold air was drawn over, swirling around Little May. Similarly, Little May's body also emitted waves of strange aura, transforming into countless cold plum blossoms intertwining with Ji Yu Hanyu's cold plum blossoms. The wind swept up the falling plum blossoms, creating a shower of plum blossoms, beautiful beyond words. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my p@tr30n. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My p@trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3353, 3353. Chapter 3353, 9 Extremes Glacier, Power of the Ancestors. Lin Moyu arrived at the edge, facing a cliff. Just a few steps forward would be truly entering the first extreme of the 9 Extremes Glacier. The 9 Extremes Glacier was enveloped by the power of the Great Tao, along with another powerful force, forming a special seal. Except for less than 1,000 meters at the boundary between extremes, flying was not possible anywhere else. Lin Moyu leapt into the air, flying down along the cliff. After flying down about 100,000 meters, Lin Moyu officially set foot on the land of the first extreme. He ignored the blast of cold air. The first extreme of the 9 Extremes Glacier corresponded to 4th level Tao Venerable, and not even all 4th level Tao Venerables could remain unscathed in the first extreme. Only those with powerful strength or who cultivated the Ice Great Tao could move freely in the first extreme. Many 4th level Tao Venerable cultivators in the Cold Water Holy Land had the ability to come to the first extreme, but they didn't have the qualifications. Only the Holy Lord and some 7th level and above elders had the qualifications to come here. Occasionally some who had rendered meritorious service would be allowed to come to the outskirts of the 9 Extremes Glacier to cultivate. Cultivation speed here was much faster than elsewhere. Outsiders like Lin Moyu entering the 9 Extremes Glacier were extremely rare in the history of the Cold Water Holy Land. Lin Moyu walked on the glacier. The glacier was incredibly solid, not having melted for who knows how many years. Even Lin Moyu, stomping down hard, could only create some cracks, unable to shatter it to pieces. The solidity of the glacier far surpassed the ground of the origin continent. Lin Moyu walked while sensing the 9 Extremes Glacier. Beneath the glacier are 2 forces, one from the origin continent, one not from the origin continent. The 2 forces fused together, combined with the Ice Great Tao, ultimately forming this eternally unmelting glacier. This force is extremely ancient and vast. Could it be from prehistoric times? Not just beneath the ground, but even the air and cold winds are permeated with this ancient power. How strange. The ancient power was faint yet ever present, not something everyone could sense. Lin Moyu took out the jade tablet Gu Hanbing had given him. The tablet contained a trace of the Gu family bloodline. To others, it was just a trace of bloodline. But in Lin Moyu's eyes, he could analyze much information from this bloodline. The ancient power permeating the glacier was extremely similar to the power contained in the bloodline of the jade tablet, of the same origin. This let Lin Moyu know that the source of the ancient power was the ancestors of the Cold Water Holy Land. Lin Moyu played with the jade tablet, muttering to himself, the ancestors of the Cold Water Holy Land must have been extremely powerful beings. For their power to exist for so long without dissipating is truly remarkable. In this environment, the Gu family's cultivation speed should be much faster. If I'm not mistaken, the higher the extreme number, the more concentrated the ancestors' power becomes, making cultivation twice as effective with half the effort. Unfortunately, the glacier isn't safe, and cultivation requires not being disturbed, so the 9 Extremes Glacier isn't a good place for cultivation. Even in just the 1st to 3rd extremes, cold surges occasionally erupt. Perhaps outside the glacier is a better choice. The efficiency is relatively lower, but at least it's safe. Lin Moyu walked towards the depths of the glacier while muttering to himself. The first 3 extremes of the 9 Extremes Glacier had no dangers. As long as there was no major eruption of cold air, one could walk very quickly without needing to pay much attention. Soon, Lin Moyu saw a tea tree, a 9 Extremes Glacier tea tree, the only plant in the 9 Extremes Glacier. The 9 Extremes Glacier tea tree was like jade carving, pure white and crystalline, semi-transparent. It didn't look alive, more like a jade carving. Even the leaves on the branches were as pure as snowflakes, swaying back and forth in the cold air. In each extreme of the glacier grew glacier tea trees. The tea trees didn't grow in patches, but were scattered one by one, very dispersed with no discernible pattern. Inside the semi-transparent trunk of the tea tree was a scratch mark. The scratch mark looked like it was made by a beast's claw, but upon careful examination, one could see it was naturally formed. One scratch mark represented one extreme. The more scratch marks, the higher the quality of the glacier tea tree, and the better the glacier tea leaves it produced. The first glacier tea tree Lin Moyu saw had no tea leaves growing on it. Glacier tea trees were distributed in various areas, very scattered, with no discernible pattern. The time for tea leaves to grow was similarly inconsistent. Fortunately, once tea leaves grew, they wouldn't fall off or wither until picked by someone. The elders of the Coldwater Holy Land would come to pick once a year. The first 3 extremes were the responsibility of 7th-level elders, the 4th to 6th extremes were the responsibility of 8th-level elders, and only 9th-level elders dared to go to the 7th extreme. As for the 8th extreme, even 9th-level elders wouldn't go. Going there meant death 9 times out of 10. Lin Moyu passed by tea tree after tea tree. Some tea trees still had tea leaves hanging on them. The fragrance of the tea mixed with the cold currents, entering his nostrils. However, Lin Moyu didn't go to pick them. First extreme glacier tea wasn't impressive enough to him. He quickly passed through the first extreme, leaping down to enter the second extreme. In the second extreme, Lin Moyu sensed the changes between different extremes. It became colder, the cold air more concentrated, the power of the Holy Land's ancestors more concentrated. Besides this were the 9 extremes glacier tea trees. The glacier tea trees in the second extreme had 2 scratch marks inside their trunks, representing the second extreme. Then Lin Moyu came to the third extreme. The third extreme was just colder, but this level of cold still couldn't harm Lin Moyu. Rumbling sounds constantly came from within his body. As his blood and chi circulated, they forced out all the cold air that had invaded his body. The third extreme has made me feel a bit of pressure. With my realm and cultivation, I actually shouldn't be able to enter the third extreme. It's thanks to my physical body being strong enough that I can remain unharmed in the third extreme. If it's the fourth extreme, the pressure on my physical body will certainly be stronger. I wonder if it can temper my physical body. If it can, this will be an opportunity for me. My physical body can at least improve by another level. The most difficult part of improving one's physical body is finding a suitable place. Now it seems the 9 extremes glacier might be an opportunity. In the third extreme, Lin Moyu also saw glacier tea trees. The glacier tea trees here were taller, with 3 scratch marks inside their semi-transparent trunks. One tea tree was full of tea leaves, waves of fragrance wafting over. Third extreme glacier tea was already considered a fine product. What Gu Hanyu usually drank was of this level. Lin Moyu unhesitatingly picked a batch. Glacier tea had another advantage. It didn't need any processing after picking and could be used immediately. Collecting some glacier tea on this trip was also a good thing, especially glacier tea from the 5th extreme onwards. It was the cream of the crop among teas, with inestimable value. After confirming there was nothing special about the third extreme, Lin Moyu finally headed towards the 4th extreme. His figure slowly descended in the air, flying down 100,000 meters to enter the territory of the 4th extreme. A blast of cold air hit his face. The cold current was like knives, coming extremely suddenly. Then, Lin Moyu saw a pair of silver-white eyes appear behind the cold current. Glacier Beast. Without thinking, Lin Moyu threw a punch. His 6th-level Dao Venerable physical body, led by the power Great Dao, also activated his soul power. This punch had already reached peak 6th-level power. Boom! The Glacier Beast was sent flying by the punch. Only then did Lin Moyu clearly see its appearance. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3354, 3354. Chapter 3354, Methods for Dealing with Glacier Beasts. This glacier beast with a head like an eagle was about 5 to 6 meters long. Compared to humans it was already huge, but compared to demon race spirit beasts, it was nothing special. Its strength was very powerful. Even after being hit back by Lin Moyu's punch, it had only suffered a minor injury. No blood flowed from the wound, only cold air leaked out. Lin Moyu instantly activated his undead eye but saw no soul. The creature was not alive. It's not a living being, it should be a monster evolved from the ancestors' power mixed with the power of the great Tao. As he was pondering this, the glacier beast pounced again. Its speed was as fast as lightning, instantly appearing before him. Its eagle-like beak opened, spewing out a cold current. The cold current instantly transformed into sharp ice arrows, shooting straight at him. Lin Moyu threw another punch. His fist rumbled with blood essence, shattering the ice arrows with a bang. Lin Moyu's fist felt slightly numb. Those ice arrows were extremely powerful. The shattered ice arrows instantly transformed into an ice rain. The temperature plummeted sharply, as if it could freeze everything. Lin Moyu let out a low shout. His vast blood essence fully erupted, transforming into a giant dragon that dispersed all the ice rain. Then his will surged. The surrounding space began to distort. Tens of thousands of skeleton god generals appeared all around, surrounding the glacier beast. Sword energy crisscrossed, densely slashing at the glacier beast's body. The glacier beast roared angrily, spewing out countless cold currents. In an instant, it froze a large number of skeleton god generals into ice sculptures. The ice sculptures shattered at a touch, the skeletons inside dying along with them. But the next second, the skeleton god generals revived again, continuing the great battle. Tens of thousands of skeleton god generals surrounded the glacier beast. Though they couldn't kill it for the moment, they firmly trapped it. Lin Moyu watched this great battle, gleaning much information from it. The glacier beast is not a living being and has no intelligence, but it has battle instincts. These battle instincts should come from some living beings. There must have been a great battle here before, where many living beings died. These living beings were all very strong, leaving behind powerful obsessions that are eternal and indestructible. Moreover, the great battle erupted in the depths of the 9 Extremes Glacier. The obsessions didn't spread to the top 3 extremes, only reaching here at most. The further down, the heavier the obsessions, and the stronger the remaining power. Naturally, the glacier beasts will also be stronger. Having experienced much, Lin Moyu was now very experienced. His judgment of various things had become very accurate. Even if not entirely correct, it was 8 or 9/10 right. The glacier beast of the 4th extreme had already reached the level of a 6th level Tao Venerable. It was already extremely difficult to deal with. If he went further down, the glacier beasts would become stronger and stronger. By then, the undead army would lose its effectiveness. If the temperature dropped further and the cold air became stronger, the undead army would hardly be able to survive, let alone be used to trap glacier beasts. Only now could the skeleton god generals still be effective. The skeleton god generals with 5th level Tao Venerable combat power could trap the glacier beast with their numerical advantage, but they could only trap it, not kill it. Taking this opportunity, Lin Moyu pondered tactics. He had to consider many things. In case the glacier beasts became too strong, what he had to consider was not how to defeat them, but how to escape. At present, he could only rely on his numerical advantage to conduct guerrilla warfare. Unless he could find the glacier beast's weakness, there would be trouble below the 7th extreme. After careful observation for a while, Lin Moyu couldn't find any weakness on the glacier beast's body. Because it had no soul, all soul attacks became useless. The world-burning fire was also of no use. Let's find a few more to look at. Maybe there will be some discoveries. This kind of monster produced by obsessions must have weaknesses. It's just a matter of whether I can find them. With a point of his finger, accompanied by spatial distortion, the skeleton hell naturally appeared. A large number of hell fiends pounced on the glacier beast, biting down mouthful after mouthful, devouring it clean in the blink of an eye. Faced with the hell fiends that were already at 7th level Tao Venerable and could eat anything, this glacier beast had no power to resist. Lin Moyu's eyes suddenly lit up. He sensed that when the hell fiends devoured the glacier beast, they gained a bit of replenishment. Since its transformation and ascension, the skeleton hell hadn't eaten properly and had been in a state of hunger. Now after eating a glacier beast, it replenished a bit of power. Although it was just a negligible amount, Lin Moyu keenly noticed it. Lin Moyu's eyes brightened slightly. That's right. Although it has no soul, it's an aggregate of obsessions and various powers. Strictly speaking, it's just a Tao Venerable level beast without a soul. As long as it has power, it can become food for the skeleton hell. The skeleton hell really wasn't picky at all, eating whatever was available. Lin Moyu felt that he could use glacier beasts to feed the skeleton hell until it was full, perhaps even making the skeleton hell stronger. This way, he would have more assurance. Without finding the glacier beast's weakness, the skeleton hell became the best method to deal with glacier beasts. If he really couldn't fight anymore, he could still use the undead army to trap the opponent while he escaped as the best strategy. After determining the plan, Lin Moyu officially stepped into the 4th extreme glacier. The moment he officially entered the 4th extreme glacier, Lin Moyu immediately sensed the difference. Beneath the ground of the 4th extreme glacier, a powerful force was flowing. This force was as ancient as the power of the Holy Land's ancestors. It seemed to have existed for countless years. Lin Moyu realized that his previous judgment had some problems. It's not scattered and disordered obsessions. These obsessions have a ruler. This ruler actively gathers the obsessions together, forming glacier beasts one after another. The difference between active gathering and passive gathering is huge. With passive gathering, the number is always limited. If someone actively gathers obsessions, then the number of glacier beasts formed would be much greater. Fortunately, the 7th level elders from the Holy Land come down every year. Besides cultivating and collecting glacier tea leaves, they should also clear out some glacier beasts. However, even if the glacier beasts are killed, their obsessions still won't dissipate. Given time, they will coalesce again. Let me see what this force is really like. Lin Moyu used his undead eye to look at the glacier ground. The soul eye didn't see anything. The force Lin Moyu sensed had no manifestation in the soul eye's view. This also meant that this force didn't have a soul. Could it be that it's also unconscious? If it's unconscious, that's a bit better. Lin Moyu became curious. He thought of a possibility, perhaps the 9 Extremes Glacier was also a battlefield in prehistoric times. At that time, more than one world invaded the origin continent. Each of the 9 continents had its own enemies. Perhaps what was faced in the 9 Extremes Glacier was the enemy of the southern continent back then. This place was one of the battlefields of the origin catastrophe. His curiosity aroused, Lin Moyu wanted to go see what was hidden beneath the 9 Extremes Glacier. He had a feeling that unraveling the mystery of the origin catastrophe was extremely important for him. If he could truly unravel it, he could gain unimaginable huge benefits. Now on the origin continent, except for a few people, he was probably the one who knew the most about the origin catastrophe. If anyone had the qualifications to unravel this mystery, it would be him. Moreover, in the process of unraveling the mystery, he might also gain great benefits. Lin Moyu followed the direction of the power flow beneath the glacier, walking step by step towards the center of the 4th extreme glacier. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3355, 3355. Chapter 3355. The great doubt is not abhor it, but I cannot accept it. The power beneath the glacier flowed like an underground river, seeming to converge from all directions yet also appearing to spread out in all directions, with an extremely complex structure. Even Lin Moyu could not quickly discern the flow of power. The world of the 9 Extremes Glacier was a vast expanse of white. There was no need for skeleton god generals to explore here. In this world, apart from glacier tea trees, there were only glacier beasts and nothing else. Lin Moyu changed direction again and again. He felt as if he was walking through a maze on a vast, boundless plain. It was very strange. If the glacier wasn't so hard and impossible to shatter, Lin Moyu really wanted to break through it and go down to see for himself. Along the way, he encountered many more glacier beasts. After repeatedly engaging with glacier beasts, he discovered some more of their characteristics. There were quite a few types of glacier beasts, with various appearances. Moreover, glacier beasts retain some characteristics of wild beasts. For example, eagle-shaped glacier beasts could fly freely in the 9 Extremes Glacier. Unlike himself, who had his flying ability sealed. Fortunately, glacier beasts had an extremely strong desire to attack. They viewed anyone entering their sight as an enemy. Lin Moyu also discovered that the flow of power beneath the glacier would change with the glacier beasts. When a glacier beast died, the direction of power flow beneath the glacier would immediately change. It was as if it sensed the death of the glacier beast, became frightened, and suddenly retracted. The retracting power was very fast. Lin Moyu lost track of it several times. After repeatedly searching and encountering glacier beasts, Lin Moyu gradually began to understand. Whenever a glacier beast was killed, the ancient power beneath the glacier would retract, as if frightened. Glacier beasts evolved from the obsessive power it gathered. Glacier beasts were like extensions of its feelers. When a glacier beast was killed, the feeler was cut off, so it would retract. This situation matched the instinctive reactions of many living beings. Just like when a person is suddenly injured, they instinctively pull back their hand. This being the case, he only needed to kill enough glacier beasts to make most of the power retract, and he could use this to find its main body. Having figured this out, the next steps became easier. Lin Moyu began to take the initiative, constantly searching for glacier beasts on the glacier ground, then determining its location based on the direction of the ancient power's retraction. After doing this several times, in just half a day, Lin Moyu had already found the location of its main body. Beneath the pure white glacier, the dark currents converged to form a lake. The countless river-like powers beneath the glacier all spread out from this lake. Lin Moyu stood above the lake, sensing the other party's aura through the thick ice. What a strange feeling. The glacier is like a huge iron plate, firmly pressing it down here. It should be trying to seep into the ground, but hasn't succeeded. It can only barely survive in the tiny gap between the ground and the glacier. The undead eye activated again. This time, he finally saw a tiny soul flame. This soul flame was extremely small, not a complete soul flame. It should only be an avatar of a huge soul. Though called soul flames, they had various forms. The soul flames of each type of living being had their own characteristics. When Lin Moyu saw this soul flame, he couldn't help but frown. Black blood again. The soul flame before him was very familiar. He had seen it many times before, identical to the soul flames of those beings in the black blood great realm. The undead eye saw black blood, but strangely, there was no sense of disgust from the soul. Clearly seeing black blood yet feeling no disgust was very intriguing. Lin Moyu pondered and gradually found a possibility. The black blood soul before him had clearly lost its self-awareness, only acting in an instinctive state, gathering power and evolving glacier beasts. The reason it triggered the Great Tao's disgust should be that it was already dead. At least the Great Tao considered it dead, with only instincts remaining. Like a walking corpse, it could do nothing but evolve glacier beasts. Naturally, it posed no threat to this world, so the Great Tao would not be hostile towards it. The Great Tao not being hostile didn't mean Lin Moyu wasn't hostile. He remembered clearly what those from the Black Blood Great Realm had done before. From the moment Lin Moyu saw the soul flame, he had been thinking of ways to kill it. Now that it was dead and had no consciousness, what if it evolved a new consciousness in the future? Such a thing, if left alive, would be a disaster. Unfortunately, the glacier was too thick and solid, very difficult to break. If Su Ku took action, he should be able to break the glacier. But there should be other methods. Otherwise, even Su Ku might not be able to break through the glacier below the 7th extreme. Its power can seep out from beneath the glacier, gathering to evolve into glacier beasts, so there must be channels. The channels are. Lin Moyu instantly understood how it broke through the glacier's seal. What it used were the glacier tea trees. Glacier tea trees rooted on top of the glacier. Their roots penetrated the glacier, deeply embedding into the ground beneath, forming many tiny channels. It was by using the glacier tea trees that the power beneath the glacier could seep out bit by bit. If so, he could also use the tea trees to attack the power beneath the glacier. It was very ancient, able to exist for so many years under the glacier's suppression. It was certainly not weak. However, there was no need to directly confront it. As long as he could erase its remaining soul flame, its power would naturally dissipate. Even all the glacier beasts in this extreme would quickly collapse. Lin Moyu's gaze swept across, finding the nearest glacier tea tree. He unleashed the world-burning fire, compressing it into a thin line, then closely following the glacier tea tree, drilling down along its trunk. The glacier tea tree and glacier seemed tightly pressed together, but there was actually a tiny gap, just smaller than a hair. Lin Moyu heightened his spiritual sense to the extreme, meticulously controlling the world-burning fire, successfully passing through the gap. Following the roots, the world-burning fire finally entered beneath the glacier, then spread towards the location of the soul flame along the gap between the glacier and the ground. The soul flame had no consciousness, only retaining some instincts from when it was alive. It had no sense of the approaching danger. Under Lin Moyu's control, the world-burning fire easily approached it, then transformed into a large net enveloping it. In the undead eye's view, the soul flame began to twist violently and frantically. The world-burning fire burned fiercely, erasing its last existence. You are already dead. These remaining fragmented scraps have no need to exist anymore. Die and be gone. Stop polluting this world, you filthy thing. Lin Moyu's words were full of disgust. At this moment, he was expressing disgust towards the Black Blood Great Realm on behalf of the Great Tao. Faint screams could be heard. The cold wind was biting. Countless glacier beasts screamed incessantly together. Beneath the glacier, the ancient power was making its dying struggle, frantically crashing against the glacier. But it was useless. The glacier was incredibly thick. It simply couldn't break through. The burning continued for 2 minutes. Finally, the soul flame was completely burned away. Without the soul flame, everything returned to silence. The suppressed ancient power began to collapse. At this time, Lin Moyu discovered that a large number of fresh tea leaves had grown on the glacier tea tree. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Making friends with streamers by hacking. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Making friends with streamers by hacking. The 100th regression of the max level player. Real-life player. Your girlfriend was amazing. Corruption in the dungeon. Check them out on my p@tr30n. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My p@trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3356, 3356. Chapter 3356, Cultivating the World-Burning Fire, Feeding the Skeleton Hell. The power suppressed beneath the glacier dissipated, instead becoming nourishment for the glacier tea trees, giving birth to a batch of fresh tea leaves. Lin Moyu seemed to have an epiphany, muttering to himself, the glacier suppresses, using its power to nurture the glacier tea trees. Using the glacier tea trees to absorb its power instead gave it a channel to evolve glacier beasts. This act is both cause and effect intertwined, truly marvelous. Lin Moyu had already understood the function of the glacier tea trees. The glacier tea trees could continuously absorb the power suppressed beneath the glacier, and use that power to nurture themselves. It was indeed a very good method. But the Great Tao always leaves a glimmer of hope. That power also used the glacier tea trees to come to the outside world, gathering obsessions to form glacier beasts. With inside and outside connected, the originally rootless and sourceless power now had an origin, so the glacier tea trees could never completely absorb its power. It naturally wouldn't destroy this only channel connecting inside and outside, so the two sides formed a delicate balance. Planting the glacier tea trees was well-intentioned, but the result wasn't good. The 9 Extremes Glacier was related to the ancestors of the Coldwater Holy Land, perhaps arranged by them, but whether the glacier tea trees were their handiwork was hard to say. It's better to dredge than to block. In Lin Moyu's view, if he really did this, there was no great error, just not careful enough, with some details not taken care of. Lin Moyu didn't stand on ceremony, collecting all the tea leaves from the nearby tea trees clean, leaving almost none. In the future, without that power beneath the glacier, the production of glacier tea would greatly decrease. But this wasn't Lin Moyu's concern. He didn't care at all, it was none of his business. This was the fruit he had sown, naturally he couldn't let others take advantage. 4th Extreme Glacier Tea wasn't bad. On the way to the 5th Extreme, Lin Moyu no longer encountered any glacier beasts. With the source destroyed, glacier beasts naturally couldn't exist. This was also a method to deal with glacier beasts, and could eliminate them root and branch. But Lin Moyu also knew that wanting to eliminate the source wasn't easy. The fourth extreme glacier was still okay, but it would get harder further down. Lin Moyu even suspected that beneath the glacier after the seventh extreme, there might be real black blood. If so, Lin Moyu's eyes revealed excitement. If it really was so, he could earn another big Dao reward. Entering the fifth extreme glacier, the temperature dropped sharply. As soon as Lin Moyu landed, a layer of ice covered his body. The fifth extreme glacier was normally a place only 7th level elders could enter. Lin Moyu was now only at 4th level Dao Venerable. Even with a 6th level Dao Venerable physical body, the fifth extreme glacier had already exceeded his limit. The ice grew thicker and heavier, gradually turning Lin Moyu into an ice sculpture. Lin Moyu was frozen, his eyes slightly closed, motionless. But from within his body, the sound of huge waves crashing against the shore constantly rang out. His blood essence surged like a tsunami inside his body. Cold air constantly invaded his body. The power Great Dao mobilized all his blood essence to resist the cold. This time, the power Great Dao was different. Within the power Great Dao, there was an extra vitality. Now Lin Moyu's Great Daos were all governed by the undying Great Dao. While mobilizing the power Great Dao, it would also drive the power of the undying Great Dao. The two powers of the undying Great Dao could freely transform according to Lin Moyu's will. When facing enemies, the power Great Dao could wrap around the power of death. When mobilizing blood essence, the power Great Dao could wrap around the power of life. Where he was frozen, the power of life and blood essence cooperated, quickly repairing. The cold air not only froze his physical body but also invaded his soul. However, Lin Moyu's soul level was too high. The effect of the cold air was greatly reduced, far less than on his physical body. As the power Great Dao operated, his soul world also emitted tsunami-like sounds, completely expelling the cold air invading his soul. After just 10 minutes, Lin Moyu had adapted. The speed of repair could already match the speed of damage. Then, the speed of repair became faster and faster. His body began to gradually adapt to the icy low temperature. After another 10 minutes, Lin Moyu put away the power of life. Just relying on the power Great Dao to mobilize blood essence, he could resist the icy low temperature. After only half an hour, cracks appeared all over the ice encasing Lin Moyu, then it suddenly exploded. Lin Moyu slowly walked out of the ice sculpture. The cold air blowing on him could only form a thin layer of ice, which would then be expelled by his blood essence power. In just half an hour, Lin Moyu had already adapted to the cold of the fifth extreme. His physical body had improved, and his soul realm had also improved a bit. As I thought, the cold air in the 9 extremes glacier can indeed be used to cultivate the physical body, and also cultivate the soul. However, the fifth extreme is not enough to cultivate the physical body to the 7th level. At least the 6th extreme is needed for the physical body to enter the 7th level. It's possible even the 6th extreme isn't enough, maybe the 7th extreme is needed. Lin Moyu felt the changes in his physical body. To advance his physical body from the 6th level to the 7th level required vast power, much more difficult than cultivating his physical body before. But in any case, at least there was improvement. This was a good thing. He had once thought that cultivating the physical body would be much more difficult than improving his realm, and it was indeed so. For realm cultivation, if all else failed, one could seclude oneself for a long time. But physical body cultivation required various opportunities. Fortunately, he had constant opportunities, and his physical strength was always above his realm. Walking on the glacier ground of the fifth extreme, cold air constantly rushed at him. At first, some thin ice would still form on Lin Moyu's body, but later there wasn't even thin ice. This meant he had completely adapted to the cold air of the fifth extreme. Here, Lin Moyu again sensed an ancient and powerful force. This force was also sealed beneath the glacier, exactly the same as in the fourth extreme. But this force was more powerful than in the fourth extreme. As I expected, in the 9 extremes glacier, the further back, the stronger the sealed power. By this reckoning, the power sealed after the 7th extreme is likely to exceed 9th level Dao Venerable. At that time, I wonder if the world-burning fire can still burn it to death. The world-burning fire grows stronger the more it burns. It's perfect to use them as nourishment to cultivate the world-burning fire. If my realm could be a bit higher, it might be much easier. The power of the world-burning fire depended on the degree of cultivation in Lin Moyu's own realm. The method to cultivate the world-burning fire was also very simple, just let it burn those high-level souls. The more it burned, the stronger it became. Lin Moyu began to search for the source. There were two ways to find the source. One was to search through glacier beasts. The second was to use the undead army, using the undead eye to search. Lin Moyu's will moved. The space around him distorted and changed shape. Skeleton kings flew out one after another. Looking at the undead army, only skeleton kings could barely survive here for a long time. Flames wrapped around the skeleton kings as they ran off in all directions. Soon, the skeleton kings encountered glacier beasts. The combat power of the glacier beasts here had already touched 7th level Dao Venerable. In one-on-one combat, the skeleton kings were not their match. The skeleton kings didn't fight the glacier beasts, but directly lured them towards Lin Moyu's position. Lin Moyu had long been waiting. The skeleton hell enveloped the surroundings, devouring the lured glacier beasts, letting them become nourishment for the skeleton hell. The glacier beasts from the previous extreme weren't of high enough level, so Lin Moyu hadn't devoured them all. The glacier beasts of the 5th extreme were already powerful enough to qualify as food for the skeleton hell. Cultivating the world-burning fire, feeding the skeleton hell, the 9 extremes glacier is indeed a good place. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Making friends with streamers by hacking. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Making friends with streamers by hacking. The 100th regression of the max level player. Real-life player. Your girlfriend was amazing. Corruption in the dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3357, 3357. Chapter 3357, Roars in the 6th Extreme. The 9 Extremes Glacier, a forbidden area for Coldwater Holy Land disciples that even 7th level elders couldn't venture too deep into, had become a great place for Lin Moyu to improve himself. One after another, 7th level Dao Venerable glacier beasts were lured over and devoured by the skeleton hell. Lin Moyu barely had to do anything to reap great rewards. The fiends in the skeleton hell feasted heartily, eating and howling non-stop. Lin Moyu could feel the power of the skeleton hell slowly increasing. Though its level hadn't changed, it was truly getting stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu's eyes held a thoughtful look. With the skeleton hell's power level, I should still be able to move freely in the 6th extreme at least. In the 7th extreme, I'll face glacier beasts with 9th level Dao Venerable combat power. That will be a bit troublesome. I'll need to eat them one by one, having Suku and the skeleton hell work together. If I'm careful, I should be able to handle it. As for what Little May said about glacier beasts merging to become glacier beast kings, I just need to not give them the chance to merge. Lin Moyu had already thought about what to do in the 7th extreme. As for the 8th and 9th extremes, he hadn't considered them yet. He could only take it one step at a time. Lin Moyu could sense that when glacier beasts died, the suppressed power beneath the glacier would instinctively retract. By the direction of the retraction, he could roughly judge the area where the main body was located. While luring glacier beasts over, Lin Moyu also walked towards the area where the main body was located. The glacier was vast, with an astonishing number of glacier beasts. The skeleton god generals had lured over tens of thousands along the way, yet this was still just a small area. Lin Moyu walked at a good pace. After about 2 days, covering who knows how much distance, he finally arrived at his destination. In his undead eye, Lin Moyu again saw a soul flame. This soul flame was clearly stronger than the one in the 4th extreme. It similarly had no consciousness, similarly didn't trigger the Great Dao's disgust, and similarly came from the Black Blood Great Realm. Lin Moyu was already extremely hostile towards it. For things from the Black Blood Great Realm, Lin Moyu didn't need the Great Dao to say anything. He could make his own decision. The soul flame pulsed slowly under the undead eye. The soul flame wasn't complete, seeming like an avatar or fragment, slightly stronger than in the fourth extreme. It was suppressed beneath the glacier, wandering unconsciously, its position not fixed. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry to kill it. The glacier beasts hadn't all been killed yet, so it couldn't be erased. Once it was erased, the glacier beasts would collapse, and the skeleton hell would have much less to eat. Lin Moyu was like an old hunter who had locked onto his prey. Wherever the prey went, he followed. During this time, glacier beasts were attracted over from afar one after another, becoming food for the skeleton hell. Time passed bit by bit. The number of glacier beasts killed had exceeded 100,000. The efficiency of the skeleton kings was rapidly declining. There were fewer and fewer glacier beasts. That should be enough. Just as the soul flame came near a glacier tea tree, Lin Moyu followed the same method, using the world-burning fire. The world-burning fire transformed into a thin line, drilling into the glacier along the glacier tea tree. Under Lin Moyu's control, it accurately pounced on the soul flame. The soul flame was ignited. Lin Moyu heard a shrill scream. The scream directly entered the soul world, extremely piercing. Just hearing it made one's heart tremble. Everything about the Black Blood Great Realm brought fear, accompanied by disgust. This time, the world-burning fire burned for a very long time. Lin Moyu estimated it took at least half a day to burn it away completely. During the burning process, the world-burning fire became much stronger. After the burning, nothing was left behind, not even a soul crystal. Even the world-burning fire considers you worthless. Filthy thing from the Black Blood Great Realm, worse than garbage. Lin Moyu looked at the nearby glacier tea with a hint of disdain. With the soul gone, the suppressed power was rapidly absorbed in large quantities by the glacier tea trees. The glacier tea trees were producing fresh tea leaves. These tea trees are truly marvelous, able to turn the power of the Black Blood Great Realm into tea leaves beneficial for cultivation. If these tea trees could be planted all over the Black Blood Great Realm, perhaps the Black Blood Great Realm could be put to some use. Lin Moyu suddenly had a strange idea, and bizarre thoughts suddenly occurring to him. Though he had never been to the Black Blood Great Realm, he felt his idea might be feasible. Of course, the premise was to kill all those beings in the Black Blood Great Realm, or keep them penned up to continuously provide tea leaves. This idea was very vicious, but Lin Moyu felt there was nothing wrong with using it on the Black Blood Great Realm. He collected all the tea leaves from the nearby tea trees and headed towards the sixth extreme. Like the fifth extreme, the moment he entered the sixth extreme, Lin Moyu was greeted by terrifying cold air. Lin Moyu was again frozen into an ice sculpture, then gradually adapted. The whole process was like a replay of the fifth extreme. Only this time, it took longer. Lin Moyu was an ice man for quite a while before breaking out of the ice. His physical body and soul improved again. After this improvement, his physical body and soul were very close to 7th level Tao Venerable. Most importantly, his physical body's adaptability to cold air was getting stronger and stronger. It seems that as soon as I enter the 7th extreme, my physical body will be able to improve to 7th level Tao Venerable. By then, I'll certainly be immune to cold air. One of the great dangers in the 9 extremes glacier will be disregarded by me. Lin Moyu summoned a skeleton king. In the cold air, the undying flames enveloping the skeleton king quickly extinguished. In the blink of an eye, the skeleton king became an ice sculpture. The cold air of the 6th extreme was too intense. Even 7th level Tao Venerables couldn't last long here. Only 8th level Tao Venerables could come and go freely here. It was normal for 6th level Tao Venerable skeleton kings to be unable to move here. Lin Moyu was just testing. With a thought, Supu and the Thunder Lich appeared by his side, along with the remaining war beasts. Most of the war beasts had died in battle. Only about 50 remained, but they were still 7th level Tao Venerable war beasts that could be put to use. The war beasts were tough and could hold out here. The Thunder Lich, cloaked in the Thunder Great Tao, could barely resist the icy cold by borrowing the power of the Great Tao. As for Supu, this cold couldn't harm him. Then Lin Moyu took out the General Seal of the Divine Talisman Army, activating the seal to boost the power of the war beasts and Thunder Lich as much as possible. Lin Moyu said softly, "The numbers are a bit low. My realm is still too low. Otherwise it wouldn't be this troublesome. But it's better than me searching alone. Besides, fewer numbers have their advantages. It won't attract too many at once." Lin Moyu comforted himself. The glacier beasts of the 6th extreme had combat power touching 8th level Tao Venerable, already extremely powerful. Of course, they still couldn't compare to those 8th level elders of the Coldwater Holy Land. But if there were enough of them, they could still kill 8th level elders. Lin Moyu had full confidence in the skeleton hell. Not just glacier beasts, it could even trap 8th level elders. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Making friends with streamers by hacking. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Making friends with streamers by hacking. The 100th regression of the max level player. Real-life player. Your girlfriend was amazing. Corruption in the dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3358. 3358. Chapter 3358. I hope it doesn't disappoint me. In the 6th extreme glacier, the death of glacier beasts unexpectedly triggered a soul attack. The soul attack came from a very distant place. The other party used the glacier beasts as a medium to lock onto Lin Moyu and launch an attack. More accurately, it used the obsessions of the glacier beasts, bypassing the skeleton hell to directly lock onto Lin Moyu. The soul attack wasn't much. Lin Moyu's soul could easily disperse it with a wave of his hand. However, the appearance of the soul attack led Lin Moyu to some speculation. Could it be that the soul suppressed here has developed self-awareness? If it has developed self-awareness, that would be a bit troublesome. Let's go over and take a look. Once it developed self-awareness, it would be afraid and try to escape. And for Lin Moyu to attack it, he basically needed to do it through the glacier tea trees. If it escaped to a place without glacier tea trees, it would be very troublesome for him to deal with it. At this stage, the world-burning fire couldn't burn it to death in one go. The glacier that originally suppressed it had instead become its best protection layer. Let's find it first and then decide. If it really has gained consciousness, there are still ways to deal with it. When Lin Moyu was considering how to deal with the Black Blood Remnant soul earlier, he had already thought of contingency plans. He had considered various possibilities, including the possibility of it gaining consciousness and then escaping. He had thought of countermeasures early on, but this method was best not used if possible. Once used, Lin Moyu didn't know what consequences it might bring. Perhaps there would be no consequences, or it might cause very serious consequences. Speculation was just speculation. Without seeing it with his own eyes, everything was still unknown. More glacier beasts were lured over. Lin Moyu still used the old method to deal with the glacier beasts. Glacier beasts with combat power reaching 8th level Dao Venerable were great nourishment for the skeleton hell. If the skeleton hell devoured one every day, it could increase its strength by a fraction. The effect was stronger than devouring over 100 7th level Dao Venerable glacier beasts. From the 6th extreme onwards, the skeleton hell began to grow stronger at an astonishing rate. Glacier beasts were lured over one after another. As more and more glacier beasts were devoured, the skeleton hell grew stronger and stronger, and the speed of devouring kept increasing. After devouring over 100 glacier beasts, the skeleton hell's devouring speed had increased several times, from initially taking 5 minutes to devour one, to now only needing 1 minute to devour one. The skeleton hell was visibly growing stronger. Every time a glacier beast died, Lin Moyu would hear a roar and experience a soul attack. From initial surprise to later becoming accustomed to it, Lin Moyu even suspected if his guess was wrong. If the other party really had intelligence, knowing this was useless, why would it still do it? This was very abnormal. Now, after 100 glacier beasts had been devoured, Lin Moyu had also locked onto the approximate location of the other party and quickly rushed over. Lin Moyu ran through the glacier at an astonishing speed. He was worried that if the other party really had intelligence, it would escape. After running for several hours, even he didn't know how far he had run. Finally, he saw it. A soul flame larger than before was jumping beneath the glacier. This soul flame was still incomplete, just a larger fragment. Lin Moyu stopped far away, looking at the soul flame and muttering to himself, such an incomplete soul flame shouldn't be able to give birth to new intelligent consciousness according to reason. If what it has is not intelligence, then it should be stronger instincts. If so, that would be easier to deal with. Guessing was not as good as seeing with one's own eyes. Lin Moyu quickly walked over. If it had intelligence and could sense his arrival, it would certainly flee. No matter how strong the soul flame was, it was in a suppressed state and could do nothing to him. Faced with an opponent it couldn't defeat, what was the point of not fleeing? Waiting to be killed or humiliated? After Lin Moyu approached, the other party didn't flee. Instead, waves of roars came. Roars reverberated through the soul, filled with violent aura. Lin Moyu's mouth curved slightly upwards. He wasn't surprised at all, but rather showed undisguised joy, so that's how it is. It doesn't have intelligence, just an excessively violent nature with more battle instincts. With the soul fragmented to this extent, it's indeed unlikely to give birth to intelligence. If it were a bit larger, there might be some possibility. From the 4th extreme, 5th extreme, to now the 6th extreme, judging from the changes in the soul, even in the 7th extreme, the soul is unlikely to give birth to intelligence. At least the 8th extreme would be needed for intelligence to possibly emerge. But they are of the same origin. If intelligence emerges in the 8th extreme, what about the soul in the 9th extreme? If two remnant souls both have independent intelligence, would they fight each other? Thinking of this, Lin Moyu suddenly felt a bit amused. It wasn't impossible for remnant souls of the same origin to engage in battle. Without intelligence, yet so violent, full of killing aura, this would be easier to deal with. The remnant soul suppressed beneath the glacier would only try to kill him, not flee at all. It had no fear, only instincts. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry to deal with it. He continued to have Su Ku and the others lure glacier beasts over to feed the skeleton hell. How could he miss such a rare opportunity? Lin Moyu patiently waited. Days passed, but he wasn't in a hurry. The cold water Holy Land hadn't set a time limit, and the 9 Extremes glacier had no time limit either. Why should he be in a hurry? The number of glacier beasts in the 6th extreme was also considerable. Over 10,000 glacier beasts had been eaten. In Lin Moyu's feeling, the skeleton hell was already very close to 8th level Dao Venerable. Now when a glacier beast was surrounded, it would be eaten clean in less than 30 seconds. The skeleton hell had begun to completely overwhelm the glacier beasts of the 6th extreme. Even if hundreds came at once, it would have no pressure. Moreover, Heiyu was still sleeping in the netherworld black pool. He didn't even need to move. These opponents didn't seem strong enough to be worthy of his action. As the new netherworld black dragon, Heiyu retained the pride befitting a netherworld black dragon. Lin Moyu finally turned his attention to the remnant soul. The world-burning fire drilled into the glacier along the nearest glacier tea tree, heading towards the remnant soul. At this moment, the world-burning fire was also much stronger than before. Lin Moyu believed the world-burning fire could definitely burn the other party to death. Screams rang out in the soul. Waves of soul attacks came, all blocked by the soul world. Lin Moyu could feel that the other party's remnant soul was of a very high level, probably not weaker than an innate soul. But because it was a remnant soul, its attack power wasn't strong and couldn't pose a threat to Lin Moyu. The world-burning fire firmly surrounded the remnant soul and began to burn and refine it. Lin Moyu could clearly feel the world-burning fire slowly growing stronger. Since entering the 9 Extremes glacier, the world-burning fire had already strengthened by 1-fold. As Lin Moyu had guessed, the other party indeed didn't flee. Moreover, the more the world-burning fire burned, the more frenzied the other party became, its violent aura becoming heavier. Lin Moyu's face wore a smile. Good, good, good. The more it's like this, the better. Become nourishment for the world-burning fire. The world-burning fire burned for a full day before this world finally quieted down. Lin Moyu clapped his hands and retrieved the much-strengthened world-burning fire. All right, let's tidy up. It's time to go to the 7th extreme. The 7th extreme that only 9th level elders can enter. Let's see what it looks like. I hope it doesn't disappoint me. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Making friends with streamers by hacking. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Making friends with streamers by hacking. The 100th regression of the max level player. Real-life player. Your girlfriend was amazing. Corruption in the dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3359, 3359. Chapter 3359, entering the 7th extreme glacier, divide and conquer. The 7th extreme of the 9 extremes glacier was said to be a place only 9th level elders were qualified to enter. Little May had entered the 7th extreme before and had already mentioned some things to watch out for. The first thing to face in the 7th extreme was even colder temperatures, which was no longer a problem for Lin Moyu. Then there were stronger glacier beasts. The glacier beasts of the 7th extreme had combat power touching the threshold of 9th level elders. Though not considered very strong among 9th level beings, they were different from those in the 6th extreme. They no longer acted alone, but began to move in groups. Often 3 to 5 in a group, moving together. And they gained a new ability, they could merge with each other to become an even more powerful glacier beast king. The strength varied depending on the number merged. The glacier beasts of the 7th extreme only touched the threshold of 9th level Dao Venerable. If 3 glacier beasts merged together, it would be equivalent to mid-level 9th Dao Venerable. If 10 merged together, they could almost rival those peak 9th level powerhouses, about equal to 2 of them. The best way to deal with glacier beast kings was to not let them merge, but to divide and conquer. This was the method Lin Moyu had thought of early on. Besides glacier beasts, there would also be occurrences of massive cold surges in the 7th extreme. When cold surges erupted, the temperature would become even lower. Even 9th level elders might not be able to withstand it. The best method was to retreat to the boundary between the 7th and 6th extremes. That place was relatively safe and allowed flying, enabling more flexibility. Boom! A thunderous sound broke the calm of the 7th extreme. Ice shattered like rain, shooting in all directions as Lin Moyu walked out from the ice encasement. Blood essence roared ceaselessly in his body. Light flowed on his skin, his whole body shining brilliantly, as if a god had descended to the world. An intangible aura emanated from him, coming from his physical body. The intangible force affected the surrounding space, distorting and deforming it around Lin Moyu. After continuous tempering through the 5th, 6th and 7th extremes, Lin Moyu's physical body had finally advanced to 7th level Dao Venerable. Not just his physical body, but his soul had also advanced along with it. While advancing, the power Great Dao had also fully adapted to the cold air in the 9 extremes glacier, becoming immune to it. Once immune, even the cold air of the 8th and 9th extremes could no longer affect Lin Moyu. This was an advantage of the power Great Dao, and also its disadvantage. Once immune, it could no longer use the cold air to improve his physical body and soul. Nothing can be perfect. Lin Moyu knew this well and was already very satisfied. 7th level physical body and soul, both improved significantly. Combined, my power has greatly increased. Just the power Great Dao alone is enough to rival any 7th level elder. This trip was not in vain. Cold air entered through his nostrils and skin, but his body felt no discomfort. Instead, it felt very comfortable. Officially stepping onto the glacier ground of the 7th extreme, Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with bright light as he looked down at the glacier beneath his feet. The pure white glacier, heavy ice sealed for countless years, seemed to have nothing. But Lin Moyu could sense vast power flowing beneath the layers of ice. This power was ancient and strong, but sealed by the glacier, unable to escape. Not far away was a glacier tea tree. The glacier tea trees of the 7th extreme were even more majestic and tall, continuously absorbing the ancient power sealed beneath the glacier. Because the ancient power was so strong, it could be clearly sensed. The glacier tea tree absorbed a small part, while most of it dispersed into the space, mixing with the cold air. This dispersed power, carrying strong obsessions, eventually evolved into glacier beasts of various forms. Here, even 7th level Tao Venerable war beasts could not move freely. The Thunder Lich also couldn't last long. Only Supu and Lin Moyu could move freely. Lin Moyu summoned Supu but didn't let him go far, keeping him close behind. This place had become dangerous, no longer somewhere he could roam at will. The two advanced across the glacier ground. The cold air grew stronger and stronger. Cold air from different directions met and collided, turning into balls of pure white mist that obscured vision. Here, visibility was not good. Without obstruction, one could only see about 10,000 meters. If there was mist interfering and blocking, one could only see 1,000 meters. Suddenly, Lin Moyu stopped. Several thousand meters ahead, 3 tall figures appeared. 3 glacier beasts, pure white all over, faintly visible in the mist. They walked side by side, moving slowly and silently. Lin Moyu had been walking fast. A distance of several thousand meters was just a matter of a few steps for him. If he hadn't discovered them in time, he might have run right into them. Lin Moyu looked at them from afar. The 3 glacier beasts were about 10 meters tall, not considered very large. They looked a bit like foxes. He turned to look at Supu and transmitted, "Don't they look a bit like your true form?" Supu answered honestly, "I can sense they have the aura of my race." Lin Moyu was surprised, "Are you sure you didn't sense wrong?" Supu nodded, "I wouldn't sense wrong. But this aura is very ancient, somewhat different from today's Heavenly Fox clan." Lin Moyu said, "This indicates that your Heavenly Fox clan once participated in the great battle here." Supu closed his eyes, carefully sensing. After a moment he said, "Not exactly. This aura should come from the ancestor. The ancestor had 9 avatars back then. When the great battle began, the 9 avatars scattered to various places. This should be one of the ancestor's avatars." Lin Moyu knew Supu was probably correct. One of the Heavenly Fox ancestors' avatars had participated in the great battle here, perished here, and then left behind some of its power and aura, or perhaps will and obsession. Lin Moyu said, 3 of them. Can you handle one?" Supu said, "No problem." "Then let's do it." Lin Moyu shouted softly. The Space Great Tao activated, instantly crossing thousands of meters to appear behind the 3 glacier beasts. His speed was fast, but Supu was faster. Supu swung the cloud-piercing sword, sending out hundreds of thousands of sword lights raining down like a fierce storm. Their sudden attack immediately drew the attention of the glacier beasts. The 3 glacier beasts turned and roared simultaneously, their movements perfectly coordinated. Their tails smashed down on the glacier with a boom. Cold air formed into tornadoes, like waterfalls flowing upwards, rushing towards the sky. Supu's strength was great, further enhanced by the cloud-piercing sword. The sword lights shattered the cold air and forcefully landed on the 3 glacier beasts. The sword lights carried huge impact force, violently blasting the 3 glacier beasts flying in different directions, instantly separating them from each other. Then Supu targeted the glacier beast closest to him, expressionlessly killing it. The 2 glacier beasts blasted far away tried to immediately counterattack. Lin Moyu pointed with a finger at the same time. The skeleton hell suddenly appeared, trapping the 2 glacier beasts within. Even with 9th level Tao Venerable combat power, they couldn't break free in a short time. Countless hell fiends pounced on the 2 glacier beasts. Spider lilies swayed frantically, releasing cyan light. The glacier beasts' aura dropped rapidly. The 2 glacier beasts roared madly, releasing rolling cold air from their bodies. Many hell fiends were frozen solid. A dragon's roar sounded from the depths of hell. Heiyu poked its huge head out from the netherworld black pool, charging towards one of the glacier beasts. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Making Friends with Streamers by Hacking. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my p@tr30n. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My p@trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3360, 3360. Chapter 3360, let's see if I can be immune. Heiyu rushed out from the netherworld black pool, transforming into a black lightning bolt and charging straight at the glacier beast. Though the glacier beast had no intelligence, it had strong battle instincts and clearly sensed the threat from Heiyu. Its huge tail suddenly whipped upwards, colliding with Heiyu. Heiyu opened its huge mouth, forcefully enduring the glacier beast's attack without changing course, and bit down on the glacier beast's head. The 10-meter-tall glacier beast was like a tiny shrimp compared to Heiyu, completely insignificant. Heiyu chewed repeatedly, its sharp teeth constantly falling on the glacier beast's body, riddling it with holes. The glacier beast counterattacked frantically, its tail whipping inside Heiyu's dragon mouth, causing Heiyu's skin to split open and flesh to be exposed. But Heiyu had no sense of pain at all and didn't feel any hurt, continuing to bite madly without stopping. The two engaged in the most intense physical combat. If it were other beings, they would likely be raining blood by now. But whether Heiyu or the glacier beast, neither shed any blood. At most, some ice shards fell from the glacier beast's body, nothing more. Heiyu and the glacier beast fought fiercely, but Lin Moyu could see that as long as the stalemate continued, Heiyu would certainly achieve final victory. Supu's side was much easier than Heiyu's. He easily suppressed that glacier beast, beating it so badly it had no way to fight back. With Supu's strength, dealing with one glacier beast was no problem, even 3 at once wouldn't be an issue. Even if 3 glacier beasts merged to form a glacier beast king, it might not be a match for Supu. Supu had stepped down from pseudo-Great Tao realm, then became a revived through the resurrection of the dead. Though he hadn't returned to the pseudo-Great Tao realm level, he truly stood at the peak of the Tao Venerable realm, able to rival any peak Tao Venerable. On the other side, the last glacier beast had already fallen into the encirclement of hell fiends. Dense and endless hell fiends surrounded it inside and out countless times. Though large numbers of hell fiends were constantly frozen to death, there were simply too many hell fiends, a full 10 million. No matter how many died, their numbers didn't seem to decrease. The hell fiends bit the glacier beast's body one mouthful after another, not sparing any part of its body. The glacier beast roared and struggled, but could never break free. Its body developed dense cracks, with ice shards falling out, immediately devoured by the hell fiends. The glacier beast's body slowly became incomplete, first developing many gaps, then its limbs began to break off. The hell fiends demonstrated to Lin Moyu the truth of eating anything. Whoosh! Countless fragments fell from the sky as Heiyu completely bit the glacier beast to pieces. But it didn't eat them, instead spitting out the corpse fragments and giving them to the hell fiends. It seemed to disdain eating the glacier beast, only killing it then spitting it out. The hell fiends weren't as picky as Heiyu, eating whatever was available, refusing nothing. As Heiyu violently dealt with the glacier beast, Supu also finished off his opponent. That glacier beast was dismembered, then Supu threw all the pieces into the skeleton hell, giving them to the hell fiends. This was also Lin Moyu's intention. After eating through the previous extremes, though the skeleton hell was somewhat full, it hadn't reached its limit yet. The skeleton hell was already close to 8th level Tao Venerable. If it could complete its advancement, then Lin Moyu could move freely in the 7th extreme glacier. 3 glacier beasts with 9th level combat power were devoured. Their vast power became nourishment for the skeleton hell, making it stronger again, getting closer and closer to 8th level Tao Venerable. The moment the 3 glacier beasts died, Lin Moyu clearly felt tremors from that ancient power beneath the glacier. It didn't launch a soul attack against him like in the 6th extreme. Lin Moyu knew it certainly had this ability, but it didn't do so. Though they were all soul fragments of the same origin, they had completely different reactions. This made Lin Moyu curious. The hell fiends completely devoured the 3 glacier beasts, leaving not even scraps. Lin Moyu sensed the changes in the skeleton hell and said softly, "Almost there, it's almost ready to advance." Merging 2 hell fragments, obtaining an almost complete netherworld black pool, greatly strengthened the skeleton hell's foundation. As long as there's enough power supplementation, the skeleton hell advancing to 9th level Tao Venerable shouldn't be a problem. Perhaps it can be completed in this 9 extremes glacier. What a good place. He continued walking towards the depths of the glacier. In the 7th extreme glacier, the number of glacier tea trees clearly decreased, but the size of the trees clearly increased. Each tea tree was hundreds of meters tall, with dense branches and leaves blocking the sky. They had been constantly absorbing the ancient power from beneath the glacier, turning it into their own nourishment. But the ancient power beneath the glacier also flowed to the outside world through the glacier tea trees, absorbing powerful forces from the outside world to nourish itself. Over countless years, the power suppressed by the glacier hadn't weakened. It even showed a faint trend of growing stronger. The glacier beasts were the best proof, and the number of glacier beasts seemed to be slowly increasing. The 7th extreme glacier had also become more dangerous than before. Before long, Lin Moyu encountered glacier beasts again. Again it was a group of 3. Using the same method, he easily dealt with them. In the 7th extreme glacier, there were many glacier beasts. He encountered them almost every short while. Glacier beasts were basically in groups of 3, rarely seeing groups of 5. Killing group after group, the skeleton hell grew stronger and more efficient. Each time glacier beasts died, Lin Moyu could feel tremors from beneath the glacier. At first it was like a warning. As he killed more and more, the warnings grew stronger. Soon the warnings underwent a qualitative change, from warnings to waves of killing intent. Lin Moyu found it interesting. In his perception, it was like a child getting angry, going from initially pointing and cursing to wanting to directly take action. But no matter how it changed, he couldn't possibly stop. After finishing off another 3 glacier beasts, Lin Moyu said softly, "One more batch of glacier beasts, and the skeleton hell should be able to advance. As long as the hell fiends can reach 8th level, the rest will be simple. By then, even glacier beast kings won't be anything." Lin Moyu clearly understood the skeleton hell's abilities. Once it advanced to 8th level Dao Venerable, it would be able to move freely among Dao Venerables. As long as it didn't encounter a pseudo-great Dao realm being, it would have no opponents. Just as he put away the skeleton hell and prepared to find the next target, the quiet glacier world suddenly filled with howling wind. Cold currents whipped up fierce winds, and the temperature began to drop sharply. The mist in the distance was blown away by the cold currents. Visibility suddenly became clear. The whole world became clean in an instant. The howling wind also disappeared at this moment, and the entire glacier world became unusually quiet. Lin Moyu's heart stirred, a massive cold surge. This strange change, like the calm before a storm, often meant an extremely fierce eruption after the calm. The calm lasted less than 10 seconds before wind suddenly roared. A pure white cold current surged over, covering the sky. Under normal circumstances, one should quickly retreat now, back to the boundary between the 7th and 6th extremes. That place was relatively safe. But Lin Moyu didn't retreat. He recalled Su Pu and said with a smile, "Let's see if I can be immune." In those few seconds when the world was clear, Lin Moyu faintly saw countless pure white figures appear in the extreme distance. This massive cold surge was not so simple. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Making Friends with Streamers by Hacking. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Corruption in the Dungeon. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a